Imagine grinding through the hardest game ever made. A game so brutal, no one had ever claimed the final throne. But he did. Bai Qi, a 20-year-old streamer, just pulled off the impossible. After countless battles and sleepless nights, he became the first player in the world to unite the 8 kingdoms and sit on the throne of souls. Even the in-game announcer declared it. A mysterious reward, never seen before, was now his. The chat exploding with hype. Victory was his until everything shattered. A figure stabbed him, calling Bai Qi nothing more than an ant pretending to be king. 1 second, he was celebrating. The next, lying in a pool of blood. Rushed to the hospital, CPR was performed, but it was too late. Bai Qi died. Our guy suddenly wakes up on top of a pile of corpses. At first, he's completely thrown off, thinking to himself, what the hell is this? Did I die? Is this hell? He's confused because as far as he remembers, he lived a pretty normal life. So why would he end up in a place like this? His head starts pounding like a floodgate just burst open. Memories come rushing back. Turns out, before ending up here, he was a small-time streamer. Not much fame, just grinding it out day after day. But everything changed when he started playing this insanely difficult open-world action RPG called Throne of Souls. The game had this wild mix, a medieval fantasy world combined with advanced alien tech after a spaceship crashed right into it, and people loved it. Players were obsessed with the world, the lore, the visuals. It was stunning, but the game was brutal. Like, smash your keyboard tough. Most people gave up before even getting through the tutorial. So instead of suffering through it themselves, they turned to live streams. That's where our guy came in. He was unbelievably good. His skills were next level, and viewers couldn't take their eyes off him. Just when it looked like everything was finally going his way, he died. Just then, a voice speaks to him. It's a familiar one. And instantly, Bai Qi knows exactly who it is. It's the voice assistant from Throne of Souls and the Game Plus World platform. From here on out, we'll just call it the assistant. Now think back. Remember when Bai Qi sat on the throne back in the game and got that mysterious reward? Turns out, after his death, that reward auto-activated. That's why he's here now. He's been reborn, straight into the world of Throne of Souls. And the moment he realizes this, he's like, why couldn't it have been Summer Heartbeat Memories instead? You know, one of those dating sim games filled with cute girls and fan service? Be honest, wouldn't we all prefer to end up in that kind of world? But the assistant doesn't let him dream for long. It explains that the key of rebirth is a reward exclusive to Throne of Souls. Other games don't offer second chances. From that alone, Bai Qi could already tell things were not going to be easy. So he cuts to the chase and asks, what's the main goal here? The assistant keeps it simple. Bai Qi has to do what he does best, climb his way back to the throne. If he becomes king again inside this world, then on the Game Plus platform, he'll earn the ultimate reward. He can choose any game world to travel to next, or even return to his original world. That's one hell of a prize. Of course Bai Qi is tempted, but this is still Throne of Souls we're talking about. The game that crushed players with its hell-level difficulty. And now he's in it for real, with no infinite respawn mechanic to back him up. But here's the deal. Even though he can't respawn forever, his Game Plus account has something crazy. He owns 100 full games, across every genre, and he's 100% completed all of them. As he progresses, he can complete tasks to randomly unlock the protagonists from these 100 games. When he does, he inherits their abilities and gear. That means he can bring in weapons, armor, buffs, potions, even skills from those other games, and use them inside the world of Throne of Souls. Now here's what makes it even cooler. Bai Qi isn't the kind of streamer who sticks to just one genre because it's trending. He plays everything. AAA games, indie games, obscure text-based stuff, you name it. So all those 100 titles in his library, they're insanely diverse. But the assistant wasn't done yet. It drops another option on him. If he wants, Bai Qi could choose to be a powerless commoner, just trying to survive in this brutal world. Technically safer, sure, no boss fights, no crazy monsters. But then you've got to deal with famine, natural disasters, maybe even getting crushed by society. Basically, the system is trolling him, throwing out a safe choice just to push him harder toward the path of becoming king. And look, Bai Qi knows what it means to be powerless. He lived 20 years as a commoner in his past life. No way he's going back to that now. He's been given a shot, and he's going to take it. Now the good news is, there's no time limit. Bai Qi has as long as he needs to reach the throne again. Once that contract is set, boom, he's tossed right into it. Next thing he knows, he's standing in a dark cave, staring at 4 NPCs hanging upside down like prisoners. Then one of them, an elf with bright yellow hair, yells at him to hurry up and cut them down. He also says they thought he was dead, that they got separated earlier. And then he drops a word on him, rekindler. He asks if he's one. That's a word we're going to need to remember because it's going to be very important later. This elf's name is Gray. He's an elf mage, level 21, and part of the princess's personal guard. Next to him is House, a level 22 human warrior, also one of the princess's guards. He immediately starts mocking Bai Qi, calling him a coward and saying they shouldn't expect anything from someone so weak. Then there's Daegu, a beastman hunter. Same group, same mission, but he's already given up. He just wants it all to end. And finally, there's the princess herself, Mina. She's from the Star Glory Kingdom, and she's the weakest of the bunch at level 12. Bai Qi looks around, completely confused. None of this matches the beginning of the game. Something's wrong. And to make it worse, they're all inside the Wailing Cavern, an area that's supposed to be for level 20 to 30 characters. Bai Qi, he's level 1. It's like getting dropped into a max-level dungeon with a wooden sword. You ever play Elden Ring with a randomizer mod that throws you into late-game zones while you're still in rags? That's exactly what he's facing right now. Looking around at the mess he's in, Bai Qi quickly realizes something. If he had picked the commoner option earlier, he would have been dead on the spot. And the worst part? The storyline is completely messed up. See, the game was supposed to start simple. First chapter should have taken him to Anka Village. That's level 1 to 10. Then you head into the Scorched Jungle for level 10 to 20 quests, and after that, a forced story event triggers where your character gets captured and thrown into the Wailing Cavern. That's a level 20 to 30 dungeon. There, you're meant to rescue Princess Mina and her guards, and then you all fight your way out together. That's the proper flow. So what does Bai Qi do? He immediately pulls up the class selection menu. Time to choose his path. There are 5 classes to pick from. First, the Valiant Warrior. It's your balanced melee class, sword and shield, good offense and defense. Then the Spellcaster, a ranged class using a staff with magic attacks and healing spells. Then you've got the Shadow Assassin, super fast, uses daggers and throwing knives, all about agility and burst damage. Next is the Primal Ranger, a mix of melee and ranged, with a staff or bow, and they use the elements for attack. And finally, there's Forsaken. This class is literally jobless, hated by everyone. No abilities, no armor, just a piece of cloth and a wooden stick. Now here's where it gets fun. Most players, and let's be real, even us, would probably go with something solid like Warrior or Mage. Something strong for the early game. Not Bai Qi. He goes straight for Forsaken. Again, this isn't even his first time doing this. Even the assistant jumps in like, why are you picking this cursed class again? But here's the genius behind his move. Bai Qi knows the early game with Forsaken is pure pain, but there's a secret benefit. Every class locks you into a fixed progression path. Even if you specialize mid-game, you're still inside the box. But with Forsaken, if you can survive long enough, and that's a big if, you unlock a hidden NPC who lets you reset and switch to any class you want, as many times as you want, with 0 restrictions. That means Bai Qi can eventually master all classes and collect every class achievement in one run. So he locks in the Forsaken class, and now the main quest is crystal clear. Get out of the Wailing Cavern alive. If he pulls it off, he gets to choose between 2 crazy rewards. 1, he gets 25% usage rights for items in his current game account. Or 2, he randomly unlocks a brand new account from one of the 100 other games in his library and gets 25% usage rights for those items and skills. Both options are game changers. Now, as he starts sneaking around, the princess's guards are yelling at him to help. Let's pause and imagine for a second. What if Bai Qi actually decided to free them? All he'd need to do is cut the ropes holding them up. But the second they're freed, Gray, the elf mage, gets one shot by the boss of this cave, Modok the Plague Beast Leader, who's level 30. Then it's game over for the rest. They all get wiped. And our boy? He's level 1. No gear, no attributes. If he jumped into that fight, he'd just die for nothing. So what's the smart move? Sneak out of the cave alone and reach the quest reward first. Whether or not he comes back for them later, that's up to him. For now, survival comes first. As Bai Qi quietly moves away, House throws one last insult. Calls him a coward, says he has nothing, not even IQ or guts. And right at that moment, a level 5 plague beast cub jumps out. As the cub charges in, Bai Qi does something slick. He dodges. Not just any dodge. He roll dodges using iframes just like we all do in Souls games. Perfect timing. The guards are stunned. How could a level 1 Forsaken with no gear pull that off? The beast throws a grenade next. He times it again perfectly, rolls right through the explosion using iframes, and counters immediately. The monster takes a hit, and its health drops. Bai Qi takes his stance and lands the final blow, finishing off the level 5 plague beast cub without taking a single scratch. The princess's guards? They're straight up stunned. I mean, think about it. A level 1 Forsaken with no proper gear just wiped out a level 5 monster like it was nothing. After the kill, Bai Qi gets his first real reward. He earns 100 soul points, 2 gold coins, and a broken spike club that adds +5 to his attack power. Not bad for a guy with a stick and some rags. But once he opens the stat panel, you can already tell, this journey's not going to be easy. Leveling up in this world is going to need serious grinding. The main goal remains the same. Bai Qi has to escape the Wailing Cavern, and he has to do it fast. As he starts moving, Gray calls out again, reminding him of her offer. If he frees them, they can all escape together. But we already know what happens if he does that. Modik the boss shows up and wipes the whole party in seconds. Right then, Princess Mina regains consciousness. She tells her guards to stop asking for help. If they can't escape with their own strength, then dying isn't something they should regret. And honestly, that's a fair mindset in a world like this. Bai Qi doesn't argue. He calmly tells them he has his own plan. And let's be real, even if he promised to come back for them, they wouldn't believe him anyway, so there's no point wasting time convincing anyone. Now, one important thing you should keep in mind. According to the original plot of the game, even if Bai Qi doesn't save them, they'll eventually find a way to break out on their own. So story-wise, he's not messing anything up. But here's the catch. If he doesn't save them, he misses out on some pretty important achievements tied to Princess Mina. So skipping their rescue means skipping future rewards. But Bai Qi isn't clueless. He's played this game to the end before. He knows that Wailing Cavern, as the final dungeon of the first chapter, is packed with valuable stuff. Back then, he scoured every inch of this place for 100% completion. Every corner, every secret. He knows the layout like it's his own room. So without wasting any more time, Bai Qi starts sneaking deeper into the cavern. He sticks to the shadows, slipping past patrolling monsters, and watching every step. He's heading toward a key character hidden somewhere in this cave, someone crucial. Let's see who he's going to find. Bai Qi finally reaches his next destination, and what does he find? A talking jar. So here's what happened. This guy came into the cave looking for treasure. But to avoid the plague beasts, he decided to hide inside a jar. Smart idea until it backfired horribly. Because of the plague beast's clumsy magic, he accidentally got sealed inside and couldn't get out. So he's just been stuck there all this time, talking from inside the jar. Now Bai Qi already knows what's up. He walks right up and smashes the jar to pieces, breaking the seal and freeing the person inside. And here he is, Lu Qi, a level 27 character and a key figure in this world. Since Bai Qi saved him, Lu Qi offers to grant one reasonable request in return. Our guy, acting all stressed and serious, tells him his friends were captured by plague beasts and dragged into this cave. So he wants Lu Qi's help to save them. But here's the thing, that's not true. Bai Qi is planning something entirely different, and he's already 10 steps ahead. As they start moving together, they run into an adult plague beast, level 18. It charges straight at them. Lu Qi steps up without missing a beat. He blocks the hit with his arm. His HP drops a little, then counters with a quick stab and follows it up with a powerful slash that beheads the beast. Just what you'd expect from a level 27 powerhouse. But instead of leading Lu Qi back to Princess Mina and the others, Bai Qi takes him somewhere else, near the edge of a deep, dark abyss. Because as soon as they get close to the edge, Lu Qi kicks Bai Qi from behind and sends him straight into the abyss. It looks like game over for our guy. But hold on, let's break this down. Lu Qi knew Bai Qi was a rekindler, and that's exactly why he pushed him. The moment Bai Qi hits the ground, something unexpected happens. He survives. Barely. His HP drops to just 1 point. but he's alive. Now how's that possible? Well, this is where the game mechanics come in. If Bai Qi had fallen by himself, it would have been instant death. But since an NPC kicked him, it triggered a weird mechanic, something like a bug in the system, where the fall damage doesn't kill you. So Bai Qi takes the pain, his body's wrecked with internal injuries, but he's not dead. Luckily, he knew what was down here. Right next to him, there's a dead body, and on it, two valuable items. One is a blood soul vial, and the other is a luminous stone fragment. While he's patching himself up, Lu Qi is watching from above and regretting it. He's shocked Bai Qi survived that fall, and the fact that he's a rekindler just makes him more frustrated. Back to Bai Qi. He drinks the blood soul vial, restoring his HP to full. Then he asks the assistant about this whole rekindler thing. Because in the original Throne of Souls game, that term never even existed. The assistant explains that most of the rekindler-related information is still locked. Bai Qi needs to uncover more of this world before it becomes fully available. But from what he's told so far, rekindlers are people who died and came back to life due to some unknown, mysterious reason. That alone tells him enough. If people in this world hate rekindlers, then he's basically a walking target. So from this point on, he knows he has to stay low-key and avoid drawing unnecessary attention. It's time to move again. Bai Qi uses the luminous stone fragment as a makeshift lamp, lighting up the path ahead. He's now entered a hidden area deep inside the Wailing Cavern, the Lost Ruins. There are no more plague beasts on the path forward, but that doesn't mean it's safe. This area is full of dangerous terrain hazards, and one wrong step could mean real trouble. The lore of Throne of Souls. See, this game doesn't just hand you its story on a silver platter. It's an open-world action adventure where the plot is scattered in pieces. If you want the truth, you've got to talk to random NPCs, defeat bosses, inspect ruins, and connect the dots yourself. But here's the thing, Bai Qi's not just any player. He's already completed the entire game with all achievements, so he knows everything there is to know about this world. Well, almost everything. He's still in the dark about the new stuff added after he died and got reborn. Now let's talk about the world itself, Pascalo. At the center of Pascalo lies a massive crystal called the World Soul. This thing is the heart of the world. It emits light and energy, keeping balance and harmony between all species. Everything was peaceful. Life flourished. But then out of nowhere, an alien spaceship crash lands. And I kid you not, its official name is Deep Space Unmanned Advanced Vessel. Anyway, it didn't just crash anywhere. It landed right on top of the World Soul. The result? Pure chaos. The world didn't completely end, but it shattered. Literally. Civilization broke apart. New species were born, and scattered factions rose from the pieces. Bai Qi, at this point, is deep inside one of those forgotten ruins, the underground remnants of a lost civilization buried beneath the Wailing Cavern. Down here, there's a hidden path, a secret exit running through an underground river. Now Bai Qi starts analyzing the situation. The quest says, reach the exit alive. That's it. No rules about which exit. So technically, this hidden route counts. Sounds like a shortcut, but there's a catch. While this route isn't guarded by plague beasts, it's a platforming nightmare. You've got to leap across narrow metal platforms sticking out of a rock wall. One wrong step, and it's instant death. But for someone like Bai Qi, who's died here over and over in his first playthrough, this is familiar ground. He's like one of those speedrunners who memorized every trick in the game. He knows where to jump, when to move, and how to land. Bai Qi makes it down, almost. He's just a few steps from the bottom when suddenly, someone appears behind him. Bai Qi reacts slowly, but he forced the attacker to dodge backwards. The attacker? Harvey, a level 30 human elemental ranger. Remember that corpse Bai Qi found next to the items after Lu Qi kicked him? That was Harvey. Turns out Harvey is also a rekindler. He flashes behind Bai Qi and lands a brutal hit. Just one strike and half of Bai Qi's HP bar is gone. Another hit like that, and it's lights out. Now you might be wondering, if they're both rekindlers, why fight each other? Shouldn't they team up and survive together? But Harvey drops the truth bomb. He says that when he was reborn, his system, just like Bai Qi's, explained the reality of rekindlers. According to it, rekindlers aren't just the enemy of all living beings. Their biggest threat is each other. Bai Qi tries to swing his broken spiked club out of desperation, but it's useless. Harvey's on a whole other level. He kicks Bai Qi again, sending him falling toward what should be certain death. As Bai Qi falls, the assistant speaks up, clearing up something important. It says it's not purposely hiding information about rekindlers. It's just that Bai Qi has to unlock that info himself by progressing through the world. But thanks to the unique encounter he just had, 3 hidden pieces of rekindler data are now available. This is where we finally start to understand what a rekindler really is. I'll also drop in some extra details along the way since I've already gone through the whole story myself. So first, what exactly is a rekindler? In this world, rekindlers are seen as vile heretics, completely hated by all species across the land. Everyone wants them gone. Why? That part's still a mystery. Bai Qi hasn't unlocked that information yet, so we'll get there as the story goes on. There's a brutal system built just for rekindlers. It's not just about survival, it's about killing each other. Taking down another rekindler doesn't just earn you regular soul points. It gives you blood soul points, which can be used to unlock new accounts from other games. Second, rekindler is just a general term for anyone who gets reborn into this world. But it's not limited to humans. You could get reborn as a different race, gender, class, identity, even a different level entirely. On top of that, stronger rekindlers can instantly recognize weaker ones, meaning lower-level rekindlers are always at risk of being hunted. Third, every rekindler's starting class carries hidden knowledge about the world connected to that class. But there's one exception, the Forsaken class. That's what Bai Qi picked. It doesn't start with any special info. The Forsaken class can later unlock special knowledge from all the other classes through class switching. Alright, I know that was a lot. But to keep it simple, rekindlers are people originally from this game world who died under tragic circumstances and got a second shot at life. But they're different now. They're no longer bound by the rules. They're aware of everything, even the NPCs, and they're not part of the original script anymore. Now back to our story. As Bai Qi was falling after Harvey kicked him, even though he was hurt, he managed to grab onto a metal bar. Just for a second. He's bleeding, injured, but he knows one thing. He can't afford to die here. So he goes all in. He lets go on purpose and lets himself fall again, using his body to bounce off the metal platforms one after another to slow down the impact. It's painful, but it works. He finally reaches the bottom, though his HP is barely hanging on. Only 10 meters left to reach the exit. He's almost there. But just as things start looking up, surprise, a rare level 25 Wormtooth fusion beast appears out of nowhere. Bai Qi's completely caught off guard. Like, how the hell did this monster even get here? This exit path wasn't supposed to have any enemies, especially not this kind. Now thinking fast, Bai Qi figured he could crawl past the monster while it's still in its slow, clunky first form. But nope. The thing immediately shifted into its second phase. Its body splits open, revealing a swarm of disgusting eyes that surround him. At this point, there's no way out except behind him. The corrosive river Styx. Our boy jumps right into it, dragging the monster's creepy eyes along with him. Now here's what makes this river so terrifying. It's been mutated and polluted over thousands of years, to the point where it can melt through almost anything alive. Stepping into it is basically asking to be erased from existence. But Bai Qi doesn't break. The pain he feels is beyond imagination, flesh burning, nerves screaming, but he refuses to give in. His cloth armor is barely holding together, keeping him alive by a thread. If he didn't have it, his HP would have already hit 0. As for the monster, its eyes start dying off one by one, unable to survive the river's corrosive power. Still, Bai Qi isn't safe. He's dragging himself through the river, inch by inch, while his HP drops with every second. But in his mind, one thing is clear, he's not going to die here. Not after getting this second chance. He has to make it. Now as he's crawling toward the exit, let's take a second to understand what's pushing him this far. This guy wasn't born lucky. He grew up in a poor mountain village, believing that if he studied hard and got into a good school, he could change his life. And he did. Against all odds. He made it into his dream university. But just when things were finally looking up, life hit him harder than ever. His mother was diagnosed with a terminal illness. So he dropped everything, his studies, his future, and worked non-stop while borrowing money left and right, just trying to save her. He gave it everything he had. But in the end, he couldn't save her. After that, his life was all about survival. working random jobs and streaming games, hoping something would take off. For the longest time, nothing worked. But then, that one game changed everything. His skills finally got noticed. His popularity exploded. He was on the edge of something big. And just when it seemed like he was about to reach the top, he died. You see now, right? After everything Bai Qi's been through, there's just no way he's giving up. With the last bit of strength he had, our guy dashed straight for the exit. Those creepy eyes weren't letting up either. Some of them even managed to sink their teeth into his limbs as he ran. His HP? Literally 1. But he made it. He actually completed the quest. And now, it's reward time. Bai Qi picked option 1, which was unlocking 25% of the items in his current account's warehouse. Right after that, a wave of green energy wrapped around him, pushing the creepy eyes away. Turns out luck was on our boy's side for once. From the 25% of items that got unlocked, he got his hands on something insane. Holy blood essence. What does it do? First, it restores HP to full immediately. Second, and more importantly, it permanently increases his peak level by 30. Not his current level, but the max level he can reach. Next, Bai Qi switched his class to Shadow Assassin, and right after, he equipped the Bloodthirsty Phantom Shadow set. This armor seriously boosts agility and intelligence, and also unlocks the set bonus skill Phantom Shadow Thrust, which you'll see in action soon enough. On top of that, he picked up the Scarlet Killing Blade, a pair of deadly dual daggers made specifically for top-tier Shadow Assassins. These blades aren't just fast and powerful, they come with a built-in skill called Scarlet Flames, and it adds a fire element to his attacks. And with one clean dash, he wiped out all those creepy eyes in a single move. Not gonna lie, deciding to stick with his original account's items instead of gambling on a new game account was the smartest call he could have made. But it's not over yet. The Wormtooth Fusion beast wasn't done. It reassembled itself back into its first form and tried to launch a surprise attack from behind. That move, it triggered a hidden quest. If Bai Qi manages to kill this monster, he'll earn 3 times the normal soul point reward. Our boy knew it was coming. He was ready. Spinning his daggers in hand, Bai Qi activated their special skill, Scarlet Blaze. Flames burst to life around the blades. Now the real battle begins. Our boy dashed in like a blur, flames dancing across his daggers. The monster tried to fight back, but let's be real, it was too late. Bai Qi already downloaded that thing's attack patterns into his brain like he's been living in its code. He slashed straight through it, and boom, blood spikes and flames exploded from the wound. That's 2 nasty debuffs right there. First, Scarlet Burn, a fire debuff that burns from the inside, dealing damage over 15 seconds. Second, the blood spikes, a result of the Shadow Assassin's deep cut skill, sending waves of pain that feel like they're stabbing straight into the bones. And our guy wasn't even done yet. He activated his ultimate move, Killing Formation Shadow. Multiple clones of Bai Qi appeared from the shadows, surrounding the beast from every direction. These shadow clones are insane. They're immune to all physical and magic damage for 5 whole seconds, and together with Bai Qi, they launched a full-on barrage. The beast didn't stand a chance. It collapsed under the pressure, and just like that, Bai Qi took the win. Now for the reward, 18,000 soul points and a new achievement. A faint light overcomes a raging fire. That boost shot his level up all the way to level 8. Funny thing is, back when he was streaming, he used to break down XP values and soul point formulas so precisely, the chat would joke he was prepping for grad school. Dude was next level. The loot didn't stop there. He also scored 108 gold coins, 2 tainted crystal vials, basically healing potions, and a special item called Prayer, Piercing Misery. When used, the player kneels like in prayer, summoning razor-sharp blades that burst out in a 3-meter radius. Great for clearing a mob or creating space. Since he's sticking to the Shadow Assassin class, Bai Qi poured his level-up points into agility, which scales perfectly with the class. Then he checked out what else he got from the 25% item unlock. Most of it, just consumables and materials. Our guy was like, of course I'd pull bad luck, especially knowing his main account is packed with legendary gear. But hold up, it wasn't all bad. Besides the Shadow Assassin set he's already wearing, 2 top-tier treasures got unlocked too. First was the Berserker set, Bloodscale Dragon Armor. It's a heavy tank-style armor, but it needs 80 plus strength to even wear. Second was the dragon spine sword, a massive two-handed blade forged from an actual dragon's spine. It's so strong it can cut through a dragon's own hide. And last, the Stargazer Prophet set, a mage gear set from the Stellar Magic branch, requiring 100 plus intelligence. It came with the Deep Space Beacon, a legendary staff made from space meteorites. Super powerful, but totally off limits for now since Bai Qi's build is agility-focused. Now on to the next objective. According to the original game's storyline, if Bai Qi chooses to save Princess Mina, she and her faction become powerful allies down the line. So he didn't waste time. He dashed back into the main route, slicing through every monster he could find to rack up more soul points. With his new class, gear, and skills, he was unstoppable, shredding everything in his path. After clearing out most of the route, he finally hit level 10. But with that came a surprise. The reputation system got unlocked. This didn't even exist in the original game. His reputation with Princess Mina's faction? Horrible. I mean, it makes sense. He left them hanging, literally, to survive on his own. Of course they're going to hate him. Even Bai Qi knew they were probably cursing his name nonstop. And they were. But Princess Mina stepped up. She reminded everyone that it wasn't Bai Qi's fault they got framed and captured. As their leader, she took the blame and apologized for everything. But her team wasn't having it. They swore loyalty to her until death, and they weren't backing down from that promise. Right after that, Bai Qi arrived and cut them down from where they were tied up. No time for long speeches, though. He looked them straight in the eye and told them they had 1 minute before the boss showed up. The princess didn't waste a second. She thanked Bai Qi for saving them, but there were only 40 seconds left before the Plague Beast clan's boss would show up. No time for small talk. Mina pulled out her staff and gave the command. Everyone had to enter combat mode. Bai Qi watched her for a moment, a little surprised. Her personality hadn't changed one bit from the original game. Still the same strong-willed, justice-driven leader. This also made one thing clear. The guards weren't hostile toward him because he's a rekindler. They were angry because he abandoned them earlier. With 10 seconds on the clock, Bai Qi made his move. He threw down a thunderstorm trap right where he knew the boss would appear. Once stepped on, it would trigger a burst of lightning and paralyze the enemy. He vanished right after, using his class ability, and told Mina and the others to hold out for just 3 minutes. Then, boom, Blood Axe Madik, level 30 and the leader of the Plague Beast clan, stormed in. Madik immediately stepped on the trap. Lightning exploded, his HP bar dipped, and he was stuck in place for a brief moment. The party was stunned. How did Bai Qi know exactly when and where the boss would show up? But Madik didn't stay down for long. His resistance to paralysis was too high, and he broke free with a furious roar. Swinging his axe, Madik went straight for the team. House, the tank, stepped up and used his shield to block, but the sheer power of the attack still injured him. The others fired arrows and tried to use thorn magic to slow the boss down, but none of that worked. This was a level 30 boss. Tricks like that weren't going to cut it. Madik targeted House again, ready to finish him, but House rolled out just in time. Then the boss leapt into the air and unleashed a tornado slash, spinning his axe and deflecting all incoming projectiles. The party could barely hold on. Thankfully, Mina kept them alive by casting protective shields. But Madik wasn't dumb. He realized the support needed to go first. He charged straight at Mina. Mina braced behind a magical shield. But she's only level 12. One direct hit would be fatal. That's when House threw himself in front again, blocking the attack, but at a cost. His shield shattered, and he took a serious hit. Madik raised his axe again, ready to end both of them. Suddenly, Bai Qi appeared, backstab. The daggers sunk deep into Madik's back, but this time they weren't just regular daggers. They were coated in a special toxin, crafted using water from the corrosive river Styx. The longer the toxin stays on the weapon, the longer the effect lingers, and now we get why Bai Qi asked them to hold out for exactly 3 minutes. Madik roared in pain and swung back, but Bai Qi dodged easily. He had every one of Madik's moves memorized. Even the boss seemed shocked that someone could read him so well. But Madik wasn't done yet. He began smashing the ground, shaking the entire battlefield. The party thought he'd lost his mind, but Bai Qi knew better. This was the signal. The boss had just entered Phase 2. From the cracks in the ground, mutated monsters crawled out, summoned by Madik. Bai Qi quickly called out orders. You handle the mobs. I'll take care of Madik. Now it was just Bai Qi versus the boss. The poison debuff only had 1 minute left before it would wear off. That meant Bai Qi had 60 seconds to end this fight. Madik laughed, mocking the idea that a level 10 could challenge a level 30. He had a point on paper. But Bai Qi? He activated Scarlet Flames and dashed forward. Bai Qi remembered clearly how much he used to struggle against Madik back in the day. He died over 30 times before finally beating this boss once. But now, our boy's got every move, every animation, every trick of Madik downloaded into his brain like muscle memory. So the second Madik charged in, Bai Qi easily sidestepped. Don't forget, Madik's fast, hits like a truck, and that blood axe of his? It has lifesteal. If Bai Qi took even 2 direct hits, it'd be game over. But agility is on our boy's side. As long as he keeps dodging and lets the poison do its work, all he needs to do is survive 2 minutes and Madik will shift into phase 3, right where Bai Qi wants him. Madik tried launching stone spikes, and our guy dodged them clean. Even Princess Mina noticed it. His dodge timing, his control of movement, everything was flawless. You could tell this wasn't luck. Bai Qi's been through enough battles to be called a real veteran. But Madik caught on. He realized Bai Qi wasn't even fighting back, just evading. That's when it hit him. Our boy was relying on the poison debuff to chip away his health. So Madik changed tactics. He raised his axe, opened a blood portal, and powered himself up. Now we're in phase 3. At this point, Bai Qi couldn't dodge completely. The boss's range expanded too much. But that's okay. This is the phase Bai Qi had been waiting for. Meanwhile, Gray wanted to jump in and help him, but Hao stopped him. He was barely holding off the summoned corpses by himself. Just as Madik raised his axe to strike again, Bai Qi teleported behind him. Even Madik looked stunned. How does a level 10 player have teleportation skills? Back when Bai Qi played this part for the first time, he always panicked and tried to dodge everything. That never worked. But the secret to beating phase 3 is sticking close. Because in this phase, Madik's attack speed drops, and his defense lowers. You've got to get in his face, take some damage if needed, and go all in. Then used his killing formation shadow again, slashing with his clones and bringing Madik's health dangerously low. Madik panicked. He swung wildly, knocking Bai Qi back, then used his last resort, a vampire rune, an imitation deep space item. It let him absorb blood from nearby bodies to heal himself. So Madik started draining his own summoned corpses. Bai Qi was caught off guard. This wasn't in the original game. But Princess Mina, she cast Forbidden Barrier, cutting Madik off from the outside world. Mina may only be level 12, but she's got serious skills. Madik, furious, charged at Mina to kill her. The party couldn't help. They were still busy holding off the mobs. But Bai Qi? He stepped in and blocked the attack, even though it cost him a chunk of HP. He popped a healing potion, restoring 30% of his health, then prepped for the finishing move. But Madik hesitated. He felt something. The energy around Bai Qi suddenly changed. An ominous pressure filled the air. That's when it hit him. He couldn't win. So Madik ran. He literally turned around and started running. A level 30 boss running away from a level 10 human. What a joke. Mina tried to stop Bai Qi, reminding him that their priority was escaping. But our boy ignored her. He knew. This wasn't just a boss. This was his fight, and it needed to end here. He dashed forward, triggered his ultimate again, and finished Madik off. Just like that, the monster dropped. The whole party leveled up. Bai Qi himself gained 2 levels, hitting level 12. And the loot? Oh man. First, he got the Blood Dance Berserk Axe, a dual-wield weapon with the skill Blood Dance. Then a corpse manipulation skill book, allowing him to control any corpse under level 30. And finally, the Vampire Rune, that same deep space imitation item, letting him absorb blood and mana from enemies under level 10. Princess Mina walked up to Bai Qi, her tone softer this time. She apologized for ever doubting his judgment, and thanked him, genuinely, for saving all of them. Everyone in the princess's party finally realized just how important Bai Qi really is. Even House, the same guy who wouldn't stop mocking him earlier, stepped forward and apologized, thanking Bai Qi for saving Princess Mina. That moment wasn't just some formality either. It actually boosted Bai Qi's reputation with the whole party. Where he was once seen as hostile, now their view of him officially shifted to friendly. That's a big deal. So naturally, Bai Qi had to ask, You guys know I'm a rekindler, why don't you seem bothered by it? That's when Princess Mina stepped in and gave him the real story. Turns out, even though they're not rekindlers themselves, they've become targets, just like him. And here's where it gets spicy. Mina revealed that in the past, their lives were saved by another incredibly powerful rekindler. Bai Qi got curious, clearly wanting to know more, but Mina insisted they leave the area first before diving into that conversation. Better talk lore once you're not in a monster-infested cave. Now I know we've talked about rekindlers before, but here's a bit more depth you'll need later on. Rekindlers are basically people who've died and come back, but no one knows why. What makes them stand out is that they each have some kind of special power, something that separates them from normal beings. They first showed up after the first Starfall War, and ever since, people have noticed they don't think like others, they don't act like others. They're wild, free, unpredictable. At first, nations ignored them, until an ancient prophecy resurfaced. The prophecy said the world would one day fall apart, and only the rekindled could put it back together and unify it to become king. So you can imagine what happened. All the kingdoms, freaked out at the thought of outsiders taking power, started branding rekindlers as heretics. Now they're hunted, with massive bounties on their heads, just to stop them from fulfilling that prophecy. But the rekindler who helped Mina and her party? He wasn't like the others. He was strong, sure, but calm, gentle, nothing like the violent ones people usually feared. And funny enough, Mina says that Bai Qi gives off the same kind of aura. Anyway, as a reward for saving them, Mina gave Bai Qi a special dagger called Adherence Concealment. Now don't let its weak damage fool you. It's got a rare effect that makes it insanely valuable. This dagger lets the user completely hide their true identity, even from the strongest beings in the world. Normally, you'd need high-tier magic or gear to do that. But with this, Bai Qi's status as a rekindler is completely hidden. No one, human, monster, or god, is going to see through it. Gray and House were about to object, thinking giving away such an item could expose Mina's identity as the Star Glory Kingdom's princess. But she shut them down. This was her decision, and no one was allowed to argue. That's when Bai Qi started to see the true value of the reputation system. Not only does it change how others treat you, but it unlocks rewards that didn't even exist in the original version of the game. As for Mina, he still saw her as noble and kind to the core, but ironically, it's that very kindness that makes her unfit to become king in this twisted world. Alright, now let's dig into Mina's backstory. She's the last living heir of the Star Glory Kingdom, a powerful empire that once united all royal power. She should have grown up living a peaceful royal life, admired and protected. But then disaster. The world's soul, the giant crystal that kept balance in this world, was shattered into 8 fragments after a mysterious extraterrestrial visitor arrived. The world was thrown into chaos. Monsters multiplied, kingdoms fell, and everything changed. Even though that deep space scout ship didn't have a single living soul on board, it was packed with weird alien genes that messed everything up big time. We're talking full-on species mutations, turning the entire world into a disaster waiting to happen. To stop this extinction crisis, the Star Glory Kingdom did what all heroic fantasy kingdoms do. They sent troops and rallied all 8 lords under their banner to fight what became known as the First Starfall War. They won. The mutant army was crushed. But here's the catch. They used up literally all their resources. Worse, during the fight, those 8 lords kind of just slacked off. After the dust settled, the same lords pulled the classic betrayal card. They declared independence one by one and split the 8 fragments of the shattered world stone among themselves. Real team players, huh? Even though that all happened over a century ago, Princess Mina, as the last royal bloodline of Star Glory, is still seen as a threat by those now independent kingdoms. But knowing her, the more they push her down, the harder she pushes back. She's not the type to sit quietly while her legacy crumbles. She's out to restore her kingdom, even if the odds are stacked against her. Man, this lore is heavy. At some point writing this, I felt like I was reading a textbook titled, How to Ruin a Kingdom in 8 Steps. But anyway, back to our crew. They finally got out of that cursed cave, and let me tell you, the view outside? Absolute beauty. Mina and her team just stood there, soaking in that freedom like they just got released from prison. Mina thanked Bai Qi again for saving them, and our guy asked the obvious. What's your plan now? Of course, he already knew the answer. He's been through this game before. But since weird new events have been popping up ever since he got here, he just wanted to double-check. Mina and Gray tried to play it cool, dodging the question. But House, my man was done with secrets. He reminded them that Bai Qi literally saved their lives. They owe him honesty at the very least. So Mina spilled the beans. They had hired some top-tier mercenaries for protection, paid them a fortune. But halfway through the mission, those pros betrayed them and took off, leaving the party trapped and broke. Worst part? Those mercs stole something insanely valuable, something Mina must get back no matter what. Bai Qi already knew what it was, the core of stars. It's a necklace forged from a chunk of the Shattered World Stone, proof of the Star Glory royal bloodline. And in the original game, it's one of the rarest and most important items you can find. Thing is, Mina and her party had no clue where to start looking. They were basically hopeless. That's when our guy just casually lightened the mood and dropped the bomb. Don't worry, I know exactly where those thieves are. Our party was standing there in disbelief, looking at Bai Qi like he just claimed he could see the future. They started doubting him, naturally. I mean, how would he know where a group of high-level mercenaries ran off to? But our boy kept his cool and promised them, no tricks, no nonsense, he's got their backs. Mina was still a bit nervous, but Bai Qi stepped in close, looked her dead in the eyes, and told her not to worry. He's going to help her. Even Mina was a little flustered. Now let's shift the scene to the scorched forest, a place where literal earth fire seeps through the ground. Inside this blazing forest, the mercenary group known as the Covenant of Justice had set up camp. 30 people strong, all between level 20 and 30. Let's zoom in on the three big names here. Marikau, a level 28 warrior who thinks with his fists, and sometimes not even that. Kula, a level 27 swordsman, and Yuri, the level 29 vice captain and mage who actually has a brain. These are the clowns that betrayed Mina, stole the core of stars, and left the crew to rot. Now they're sitting around, wondering why their captain decided to hide out here instead of cashing in that rare necklace. Enter Sidith, level 30, the leader of this merry band of backstabbers. He explained he's staying low in case Mina somehow survived and made it out. He regrets not just finishing the job back in the cave. His men laughed it off. No way they survived, they said. Ha, little do they know. Flashback time. Back when Sidith was tying Mina up, he tried to sell it like he was doing her a favor. This guy really had the nerve to talk like a noble while being a full-blown thief. When she refused to hand over the necklace, he threatened her party's lives. She gave up the core of stars, but not by choice. Back to now, Sidith told his crew they'll be leaving tomorrow to make a fortune. That's when Marikau, who apparently runs on snacks and bad decisions, grabs his woman and drags her into the tent like he's clocking into his night shift. This man has too much energy. Yuri, the only one thinking ahead, warns Sidith that every kingdom out there is gunning for Mina just to get that necklace. If they play their cards right, they could get rich for life. Sidith thought about it, maybe sell it to a kingdom, but not the Alina Duchy. He said that place is filled with broke nobles and artsy types pretending to be fancy. Instead, he wants to sell to the Hades earldom. Way more money, bigger army. Only problem? Hades and Wembak are busy fighting over some border drama, so no one's in the mood for shady deals right now. Let's break down some of the 8 kingdoms real quick. Hades earldom, Lionhead Crest, mountains, blacksmiths, strong military. Basically, the kingdom of buff guys and good armor. Alina Duchy, Rose Crest, farmland, painters, scholars, poor but poetic. Imagine nobles drinking tea and painting sunsets. Wembak earldom, Bear Claw and Axe Crest, dense forests, hunters, and tough carpenters. Probably where all the lumberjack-themed RPG characters come from. Now, while the mercs are chilling, Bai Qi has already taken out a few patrols. Mina and her squad are up on a hill, watching the camp. They want to wait for nightfall before moving in, but Bai Qi's like, nope. We've got 3 hours max before they realize their patrols are missing and the whole camp goes on red alert. So it's time for a plan. You see, deep in this scorched forest lies a crimson fire spider nest. These things range from level 10 to 20, but they come in swarms. Like, burn you alive swarms. The idea? Mina and her party will head to the nest, lure out as many spiders as they can without dying, and then drag them straight to the mercenary camp. The success of this plan hinges on one monster, the Crimson Fire Widow, a terrifying level 30 spider boss. If Bai Qi can lure that thing straight into Siddhartha's camp, there's a big issue with the plan. Out of the whole team, only the princess and the tiger guy can go invisible. That means House and Gray would be left fully exposed, and when you're dealing with mutant spiders, that's basically asking for a death sentence. But don't worry, our boy already had that figured out way ahead of time. Remember that 25% item usage perk he has on his main account? With it, he can hand out powerful gear like candy, and that's exactly what he does. First, he gives them the Lone Shadow. This thing is literally water taken from the Shadow River. One sip and boom, temporary invisibility. Next up, God's Whisper, a high-tech comm device straight from the Deep Space Scout ship. It lets the team talk to each other from up to 1,000 meters away. And then comes the Frost Grenade. Pull the pin, throw it, and anything in range gets hit with a nasty frost slowdown. The squad was straight up stunned. Like, bro, where the hell did he even get this stuff? Our boy's just thinking, easy, I grinded for it. Mina couldn't believe it. Even the 8 kingdoms can barely get their hands on native deep space items, and here he is just handing them out. These aren't your average RPG loot drops. Native deep space items are so rare, they're basically royal treasures. The royal families only hand them out as top-tier rewards to knights and nobles who've done something legendary. And here's a quick lore drop for you. While the Deep Space Gazer Academy started mass-producing imitation versions, they're honestly trash compared to the real deal. Their knockoffs only made people realize how valuable the originals truly are. Nowadays, there are even full-on religious cults worshipping native deep space items. Some nobles are even part of that. The Gazer Academy itself is kinda shady. They don't belong to any kingdom. They reverse engineer this deep space tech, turn it into weapons, and sell it to whoever's got the fattest wallet. Sure, they've advanced human tech, but also made wars even bloodier. On the black market, these native items go for crazy prices, like sell your entire castle kind of prices. And our boy even knows that Mina once sold her royal heirloom on the black market just to afford mercenaries. She lost all the money and the heirloom. When he casually drops this info, Mina is shocked. Like, how the hell does he know something that embarrassing? Still, she starts feeling something for him. Maybe it's respect, maybe it's something more. And just like that, the system updates. New main quest. Help Mina retrieve the core of stars, that necklace forged from the Shattered World Stone, a symbol of her royal bloodline. And you already know what our boy gets out of it. A fresh account unlock point. With the mission set, it's time to move. Mina and the squad head deeper into the Scarlet Fire Spider's lair, smashing spider eggs left and right to piss off the boss. It works. Soon, a swarm of adult spiders is chasing them. As for our boy, he's got the hardest job, luring out the big boss alone. Say hello to the Red Widow. The boss tries to catch him off guard, but he's too fast. He dodges and starts leading it away from the lair. But this spider's not dumb. It uses illusions. Suddenly, a gorgeous red-haired woman appears, walking toward him with a seductive voice, saying stuff like, "Why not stay here, mate with me, and start a new life?" Guys, don't fall for it. By mate, she means inject you with neurotoxin, give you a fake sense of euphoria, and then eat you alive. Spider romance, as I would call it. Our boy's not buying it. He's seen this trick before and snaps out of the illusion instantly. The Red Widow switches tactics and shoots out acid that melts anything it touches. But again, our boy's agility is no joke. He dodges, keeps running, and makes it to the cave exit. Problem is, the boss doesn't follow. It's super territorial. That's when our boy activates Plan B. He straight up lies to the Red Widow, saying, "Hey, I was sent here by the camp leader Siddharth to gather your silk. Apparently, it's great crafting material." And just to sell the story harder, he adds, "Oh, and there are 30 guys in camp that are even more buff than me." The Red Widow hears 30 juicy meals and instantly takes the bait. She gets hyped and starts chasing after him. Looks like Bai Qi's crazy plan is working like a charm. So far the plan is going smooth like butter. The party split into 4 groups, each one luring a bunch of spiders to completely surround the enemy camp from every direction. Now over on Siddhartha's side, his squad finds their patrol buddies dead, and another guy rushes in full panic yelling that spiders are swarming in from all sides. He says he saw Princess Mina too. Siddharth was like, "What the hell? How is that woman still alive?" Then chaos just breaks loose. Spiders are crawling everywhere, men getting wrecked left and right, and even Sidith's elite buddies are getting overwhelmed. Sidith charges in to help and yells for everyone to grab the money and bounce. One of his men, clearly with more heart than Sidith, asks if they should help the others. And that's when Sidith's true colors show. The man straight up says as long as they've got the cash, they can always hire new people. Like bro really said, let him die. We'll buy replacements. And then, the Red Widow boss shows up. It spits acid and Yuri jumps in to save Sidith. But guess what this piece of trash does? The moment Yuri asks for help, Sidith grabs him and throws him straight at the spider boss's bait. Man really sacrificed the guy who saved him just to run away. But don't worry, karma's fast today. As Sidith tries to escape, he runs into Mina, or so he thinks. He rushes in to take her out. It was just a hologram created with a deep space item. Then from the shadows, our boy Bai Qi steps in and puts a dagger to Sidith's neck. Sidith panics, summons a blade of energy around his hand, and shoves Bai Qi back. Then he looks at Bai Qi's level, just level 10 Shadow Assassin, and starts talking trash, all cocky like he already won. Sidith goes in for the kill, but Bai Qi, lightning fast, dodges clean, so fast even Sidith was taken aback. Wait, what? That's level 10 speed. Let's clear something up. Some of you might be wondering, wait a second, Bai Qi was right behind Sidith earlier, so why didn't he just stab him and end it right there? Good question. The thing is, Sidith is an elemental ranger class, and that class has a passive trait that makes them straight up immune to backstabs. If Bai Qi had gone in without thinking, he would have gotten stunned and probably ended up on the losing side real quick. Now Sidith didn't waste time. He activated a skill that covered his hands in fiery claws and immediately charged in. First strike, flame claws flying right at Bai Qi. But as usual, our boy dodged. Sidith wasn't done though. He fired off another follow-up attack right after. This part's important because even if you're briefly invisible thanks to those iframes, a second strike can still hit you. That's what makes elemental rangers such a pain for shadow assassins. They're natural counters. Just because your class is at a disadvantage doesn't mean you're doomed. It's not about the class, it's about how you use it. Sidith actually looked surprised when Bai Qi landed a clean counterattack in the middle of his combo, so he decided to go all out. He activated Elemental Sacred Hunt, a skill that buffs both his offense and defense using raw natural elements. At this point, Bai Qi was still sitting at base level 10, but with peak stats temporarily boosted to level 30. The catch? That boost only affects his raw numbers, not his class skills. So his skill set was still locked to level 10 abilities. Sidith came flying in again and this time landed a solid hit that dropped Bai Qi's HP bar. But don't panic, our boy planned for this. He pulled out a consumable, class emblem, a level 50 item that unlocks level 50 class skills for a short burst, just 3 minutes. That's all he needed. And with that, he activated Shadow God, a next-level assassin skill that tears open a rift and summons shadow demons from the Shadow Realm to join the battle. Sidith, still thinking he had the upper hand, charged again. But Bai Qi blocked one of his key moves and instantly broke Sidith's skill chain. As Sidith tried to retreat, the shadow summons swarmed and pinned him down, locking him to the ground. Our boy stood over him, menacing. Feeling that pressure, Sidith pulled out the core of stars and handed it over like a coward. But Bai Qi wasn't playing around. He dashed in and delivered a clean strike, dropping Sidith's HP to just 1. That was it. Side quest completed. Bai Qi gained soul points and unlocked 1 account point. And yes, Mina finally got her core of stars back. Then Mina walked up to Sidith, asking why he didn't just kill them back then. Sidith gave some half-hearted excuse about a shred of kindness, and even tried to act regretful, saying he should have taken them out when he had the chance. But Bai Qi? He already knew the truth. Sidith didn't kill them because he was gambling on Mina's luck. He believed that no matter what happened, if Bai Qi didn't save her, she'd still find her way out of the Wailing Cavern on her own. And if that happened, Sidith planned to submit to her and help her restore the kingdom, riding her success to power. He wasn't being kind. He was playing chess while acting like he was doing charity. Just when it looked like House was about to finish Sidith off once and for all, the Red Widow boss returned. It grabbed Sidith, wrapped him tight in silk, and carried him off. Not to save him. She's gonna eat him later and lay her eggs. Everything was set to finish off the Red Widow, and suddenly something massive stomps onto the scene, crushing the ground. And it steps right on the Red Widow, as though she's an annoying bug. Meet Digjin Blake, one of the ancient dragons in this game. His level? Unknown. That's code for don't mess with him. Bai Qi can't even find words. This is not part of the original game. He immediately tells everyone, no sudden moves if they want to stay alive. The dragon grabs the Red Widow and devours her in one bite. In the base game, wild monsters fight everything on sight, but dragons? They play by their own rules. Now for a little lore drop. Digjin Blake, aka Guardian Dragon Digjin Blake, is one of the 3 dragons tasked with protecting the world's soul. The other 2? A legendary red and a blue dragon. But after the world shattered and the Star Glory Kingdom fell, Digjin disappeared. Never seen since the first Starfall War, until now. Sure enough, Digjin rears back, flames gathering in his throat, ready to incinerate them all. Then, our boy speaks in Draconic, actual dragon language, and pleads for their lives. He says they're not enemies. Digin's stunned. A human speaking Draconic? That's unreal. But Bai Qi? Calm as can be. He bows, shows respect, and says he's sworn to protect Princess Mina, a member of the Star Glory bloodline, someone the dragon once swore loyalty to. Here's the backstory. Digjin Blake made a contract with the Star Glory royals. He must protect them. Not guard people in general, but the princess specifically. Digjin, smart as he is, clarifies he isn't anyone's bodyguard. He's sworn to defend the world's soul and those tied to it. Digin's offer: prove that Mina is the real princess, right here, right now, or they'll all be dragon food. Bai Qi pulls out the core of stars and shows it to Digjin. It's legit proof that the princess is of royal blood. You'd think that would stop Digjin? Dude sees the proof and still goes full dragon mode, launching a massive fire breath straight at them. But our boy moves fast, swoops in, grabs the princess, and gets her out of harm's way just in time. Bai Qi uses 2 deep space treasures to throw up a shield around them. And this isn't some weak bubble, it's a solid barrier. Its only flaw: it can take 2 hits from Digin's fire breath. After that, they're fully exposed. At this point, Bai Qi's got a tough call to make. He could use his points to unlock a new account, hoping for powerful gear. But that's risky. There's only a 25% chance he'll get what he needs to fight a beast like Digjin. On the other hand, he does have the Bloodscale Dragon Armor set and the Dragon Spine Sword, both deadly against dragons. Problem is, his strength stat is way too low to equip either. He's kind of stuck. But don't count him out just yet. Our boy's got one last card to play. He turns to the princess and tells her there is a way out, but it'll hurt. She doesn't even hesitate. If it means saving everyone, she's all in. So Bai Qi knocks her out gently, lays her down, then takes out his dagger and pierces her chest. It's to draw a bit of her heart's blood, which he then fuses with the core of stars. And just as Digjin launches another fire breath, boom, a warrior in radiant golden armor appears, standing tall and unshaken, catching that fire attack with just one hand. And Digjin? He's shook. Like, what the hell is this guy doing here kind of shook? Because standing in front of them now is none other than the first king of the Star Glory Kingdom, Manhwa Star Glory himself. The one who supposedly died centuries ago. Now before you get confused, no, this isn't resurrection. Bai Qi didn't bring him back to life. This is a summon. No consciousness, no personality. Just pure power, and its only mission is to protect Mina and Bai Qi. So Digjin, trying to assert dominance again, breathes more fire. The blast is massive, scorching everything in its path, but Manhwa doesn't budge. Just stands there like a damn wall and blocks it. Then he starts walking forward, slow and menacing. And when he gets close enough, star annihilation. He stomps the ground so hard it sends a shockwave ripping through the area. Everything around shatters. Even Digjin, the giant dragon, is forced to back off. Manhwa charged in, and even though Digjin blocked the attack, it still took a huge chunk of his HP. Digjin got furious because he and Manhwa have history. He regrets not killing him back then, but don't worry, we'll get to that story soon. For now, Digjin tries to hit back with his tail, but Manhwa just parries the attack. Everyone around is stunned because parrying is a super difficult skill in this game. And here's Manhwa, just a summon, pulling it off perfectly. That really makes you wonder how insanely powerful Manhwa was when he was alive. Right when Manhwa is about to land a killing blow, Digjin starts trembling. Memories flood back to their first fight. Back then Manadalis had gone alone into Diggin's cave full of gold and treasures. Manadalis wanted Diggin's help to protect the soul of the world, but Digjin thought it was beneath him to help a human. So they fought. Manadalis won, but Digjin still refused to serve him. Then Manadalis swung his greatsword, stopping just before killing Digjin. He saw the fear of death in Digjin and decided to give him one last chance. Work together for now, and once Digjin grew stronger, they would have a rematch. So Digjin became Manadalis's pet dragon for a while until Manadalis died in the First Starfall War. Back to now, Manadalis's swing cracked the earth deep and wide, like the blow went meters underground. Even though Manadalis is just a summon, he stopped short of killing Digjin, like part of his soul is still there. Terrified, Digjin vomits up a treasure and runs away. The party wonders why Bai Qi doesn't chase after and finish off Digjin. Bai Qi explains he wants to, but the summon time for Manadalis ran out, so he can't fight the dragon anymore. With the battle over, Bai Qi gains 40,000 soul points, and everyone's level goes up. Most importantly, they get the treasure Digjin dropped, an ancient chest covered in salvia. The princess is physically fine, but mentally exhausted, so she won't wake up for at least 10 days. Now it's time to open that chest, but the big question is, what if it's a mimic? The party was really against opening that chest, but our guy? He already made up his mind. The second he popped it open, gold coins just exploded out like a mountain crashing down on them. These were the first king's gold coins, super rare and valuable. But wait, that's not all. Inside the chest, there was also a key to the exile dungeon, a level 50 dungeon no less, and a map with the exact coordinates to that dungeon. This place wasn't even part of the original game, so it's a huge deal. Plus, there was a soul summoning bell. Ring that bell, and you can call up the souls of the dead ashes to fight for you. Our guy didn't take any of the gold for himself. He left all those coins to the princess and her crew. House couldn't figure out why, since Bai Qi had been the one pulling most of the weight all along. Turns out our guy is pretty clever. He called his share an investment in their bigger goal, restoring the kingdom. So the princess's team sticks to their original plan, head to Robbie's place for refuge. Since the princess is weak now, that's basically their only option. Quick lore drop. Baron Robbie is a big-shot noble from Alina Duchy. He's loaded, well-connected, and operates by his own shady rules. His family got rich thanks to the Starglory royal family, so he doesn't hold any grudge against Princess Mina. As for our guy, he decided to visit Anka village. So they all said their goodbyes. Oh, and Bai Qi's rep in the princess's faction? It shot way up after all this. But here's the thing. No one knows this yet, but after Manadalis's attack earlier, the ground split open. Endless monsters started rising from underground, and there's a seriously powerful demon among them. We'll skip that for now, but don't worry, it's coming back later. Now let's get into our guy's plan. The game's Chapter 1 had 3 maps. Normally, when all 3 reach 100% progress, the village chief gives the final quest reward. But now, everything is reversed. For a moment, our guy thought about skipping the beginner village. But as a top-tier player going for full completion, he can't stand leaving anything unfinished. So we jump to Anka village. This place is barren but safe and peaceful. The people are upbeat, giving a rare glimpse of humanity in this messed-up world. All thanks to the village chief, Ankaville, who keeps everything running smooth and even helps our guy get through his beginner phase. Well, forget all that you've heard about Anka village, because now it's the exact opposite. Bai Qi reached the village continent, and just by stepping in, he could tell something was wrong. The road was dead silent, and the moon was casting a red glow everywhere. Then he hears someone screaming. He dashes toward the sound to see what's going on. Turns out it's coming from a kid being used as a sacrifice in some twisted ritual. He's tied down, and 3 creepy cloaked freaks are standing around him. One of them places this weird bug on the kid's stomach. It starts digging in, trying to burrow inside. But before things get worse, Bai Qi throws a dagger straight through it and kills the bug, saving the kid just in time. One of those cloaked guys totally loses it. Because that bug wasn't just any bug. It was something they called the Sacred Star Mother Bug's Supreme Crystal. These cultists are seriously deranged. Bai Qi hears that name and freezes for a second. He's never heard it before, but that bug looked a lot like a species from the original game. Except those things were never supposed to appear this early, especially not in the beginner village. Then two of the cloaked guys, level 5 each, rush at him. But come on, we know our boy. He dodges clean, counterattacks, and wipes them both out without breaking a sweat. That's when he realizes something. There's got to be a rekindler inside the village. That's the only explanation. Their leader steps up, holding something called the boon of the sacred star mother bug. He activates a skill called Insect Swarm. Suddenly, the two that Bai Qi just defeated come back to life, but now they're wrong. Corrupted, twisted. Our boy figures it out instantly. This transformation is the work of a parasite known as the myriad spawn, something from deep space. One of the corrupted ones uses a skill called powdery neurotoxin, a signature move of the myriad spawn. If Bai Qi hadn't blocked it with his cloak, he'd be hallucinating into madness right now, with his body and mind rotting away. He vanishes into the air, summons scarlet flames, and instantly burns them both down again. Their leader tries to escape, but Bai Qi isn't letting that slide. He throws his dagger, direct hit. And with that, he gets a new item. Echoing Aberrant Bug. It's a summoning tool. When activated, the sound it makes triggers hidden parasites in living beings, forcing them to show their true form. Now let's take a moment for some quick but important lore. The myriad spawn are alien parasites, creatures born from eggs that hitched a ride on a deep space scout ship. When the ship crashed, the eggs merged with local species, creating chaos. These things can infect plants, bugs, even humans. And when they do, there are 3 possible outcomes. 1. Incompatibility, the host dies instantly. 2. Orderly symbiosis, you can't even tell someone's infected. 3. Mutated symbiosis, the scariest one. The parasite awakens unknown powers in the host, making them stronger. Even if the host keeps their mind, they become part of a hive mind. They follow orders, no questions asked. That's how myriad spawn survive. In the original game, there was even a cult that worshipped them. So the big question now, does the sacred star mother bug mean the myriad spawn itself, or something even worse that's already been infected? Because according to the normal game flow, the map where myriad spawns show up isn't supposed to appear until Chapter 3. But now it's right here in the beginner village. And that kid Bai Qi just saved? His name is Dina. Our boy knows him well. In the original game, Dina was an NPC who followed Bai Qi around like a loyal sidekick. Remember earlier how we said the village chief was kind, keeping the village peaceful? Scratch that. Dina reveals the truth. The chief has gone mad. Completely insane. He's the one behind this ritual, behind everything. He turned the whole village into a nightmare. Anyone who resisted? Dead. Or locked away in the dungeon waiting to die. Dina's mom is one of them. He only barely escaped to find help. But really, who can he turn to? With time running out and the fear that his mom might become a monster, Dina sprints back into the village. Bai Qi, not wasting a second, uses a marking rune, a one-time consumable that lets you track someone's location for an hour. Now, with Dina leading the way, Bai Qi dives into the heart of the madness. Even the main quest has changed. Bai Qi must solve the Anka village anomaly, purify the corruption, and bring back the peace that once was. Dina finally reaches the spot where his mother is being held. He's swinging a sword with everything he's got, trying to break the chains holding her down. But no matter how hard he tries, the chains don't even crack. His mother pleads with him to run. She says her fate, and the fate of everyone else imprisoned there, is already sealed. But Dina refuses to give up. That's when our boy steps in. He stops Dina and tells him straight up, those chains have magic on them. No matter how much strength you put in, they won't break. Hearing that, Dina turns to him and asks something unexpected. Was Bai Qi sent by the Alina Duchy to cleanse the village? Our boy immediately knows this is bad news. If people in the village already think the duchy is coming, things are going to get messy real fast once they actually show up. But Bai Qi makes it clear. He's not with Alina Duchy. He's not part of any grand mission. He just came to this village looking for a place to rest, hoping to find some peace. But now that he's seen what's going on, he's not walking away. He tells Dina he's determined to save the village no matter what. Then he asks a crucial question. Where's the gathering place of the Ascended Ones? Dina says it's most likely underground, hidden somewhere beneath the village. That's when Bai Qi lays out his plan. It's risky, but it's the only shot they've got. Dina will act as bait. He'll lure those Ascended freaks out and let them take him to their hidden gathering spot. Of course, his mother is completely against this. She doesn't want her son in more danger. But Dina, man, this kid's got guts. He agrees to help Bai Qi without hesitation. As Bai Qi vanishes into the shadows, the next wave arrives. Deal shows up with 2 other Ascended ones. Now when I say Ascended, I'm talking about people who went through the ritual and merged with the myriad spawn. They're stronger, but also totally corrupted. Deal is Dina's father. Yes, his own dad. But instead of protecting his son, Deal's gone full psycho. He chose the dark path and now treats his own son like nothing. The truth is, Deal was trash before the ritual, and now that he thinks he's evolved, he's still the same old trash. Even Dina knows it. The power didn't change who he is. It just made him worse. Deal grabs his son and takes him to the underground gathering area. So far, Bai Qi's plan is going exactly how he hoped. The Ascended ones strap Dina to the altar again, demanding answers. They want to know what happened to the others sent after him. And more importantly, they're asking about the sacred star mother bug. Deal's ready to torture his own kid to get answers. But just then, the massive door in front of them suddenly creaks open. A sign, whatever they're doing. It's telling them they need to let Dina go inside. The one standing inside is none other than the village chief himself, but he's not the man he used to be. His body is horribly twisted, part human and part grotesque corrupted insect. Ankaville is barely recognizable. He's here to pass on his legacy. He tells Dina that he knows his own time is short and that he wants Dina to inherit his plan, to carry on the future he's built around this madness. Now let's rewind and see how this peaceful little village turned into such a disaster. 2 years ago, the village was hit by a plague. It was brutal. Nearly half the villagers died. The chief felt helpless, totally broken. All he could do was cry and drown in regret. But then, a rekindler appeared. This guy not only cured the plague, but also brought a twisted kind of hope. He gave the chief the larva of something called the sacred star mother bug. Under Ankaville's care, this larva grew stronger and stronger. He saw it as salvation, but it turned out to be something far from that. It gave the villagers a chance to ascend, but let's be real, that just means turning into crazed bug monsters. Eventually, Ankaville did something unthinkable. He poured the sacred king bug out of his own body, offering it to Dina. The thing started crawling toward the boy, but Dina, showing real courage, grabbed a stone and smashed the bug to death on the spot. Just like that. All that obsession, all those years of devotion, wiped out in an instant. Dina didn't stick around. He bolted for the door and locked it from the inside, keeping the others out. Ankaville, thinking Dina was just trying to escape, rushed after him. But as he raised his limbs to strike, Bai Qi appeared and sliced one clean off. Ankaville lunged again, and Bai Qi severed another. That's when Ankaville pulled out his trump card, bone-corroding aberrant toxin. This deadly gas is one of the myriad spawn's signature attacks. It paralyzes nerves and can kill within seconds. Ankaville dashed in, thinking this would finish Bai Qi. But our boy didn't even flinch. He stood his ground, moving normally as if the poison wasn't even there. That's because he came prepared. He was wearing a deep space item called the Purification Mask Type 3. This thing can isolate and purify toxic particles in the air. And he didn't forget about Dina either. He handed him a Purification Mask Type 1, keeping him safe too. As the battle raged on, Bai Qi couldn't help but think back to who Ankaville used to be. Back when Bai Qi was just starting out, weak and low level, most of the villagers wanted to chase him off. But Ankaville stood up for him. He brought him into the village, gave him food, treated him with kindness. Bai Qi remembered how he used to go hunting to repay their kindness, dragging carts full of meat back to the village. He remembered sitting next to the chief, listening to stories, learning the lore of the village. Those were memories he never forgot. But now, looking at what Ankaville had become, our boy knew there was only one thing left to do. He had to end it. Send Ankaville off on his final journey. Our boy Bai Qi finally defeated Ankaville, bringing his HP all the way down to just 1. But instead of finishing him off with one last hit, something strange happened. Ankaville reached out and touched Bai Qi's leg, and in that instant, their minds connected. It wasn't just a vision or some memory flash. It was like they were both standing in each other's pasts. Ankaville saw a version of reality where the two of them fought side by side, where they were allies instead of enemies. And Bai Qi saw how this whole nightmare began 2 years ago. Back then, a rekindler came to the village. He claimed the only way to beat the plague was by using a sacred insect and changing the village's destiny completely. Ankeville didn't believe him at first, but he had no other choice. With everyone dying around him, he decided to trust the Rekindler. Now Bai Qi finally understood why Ankeville did what he did. He wasn't just a madman, he was desperate. And seeing that alternate fate, where things could have been different, hit Ankeville hard. So out of respect for who they used to be and the bond they once shared, Ankeville made a final decision. He stabbed himself, ending it with his own hands, and passed the village into Bai Qi's care. From that, Bai Qi gained 2 major quest items. First, a rust-covered key. This thing looks old and forgotten, but it can unlock a hidden door somewhere. Second, the sacred bug crystal. Nobody knows what it does yet, but you can bet it's important. Still, even with these items, Bai Qi knows there's no saving the villagers who already turned into insectoids. The only way is to put them all down. And just when you thought it was over, Bai Qi's consciousness linked with someone else, the evil Rekindler. He's hiding underground, deep beneath the village in some creepy cave. What's worse is that he's using a fragment of the world's soul for his twisted plan. And let me tell you, that's a huge deal. A world soul fragment isn't just some magical object. It's an ancient, powerful essence tied to the very foundation of the world. The fact that it's here means serious trouble. The Rekindler taunts Bai Qi, telling him to come find him if he's not afraid to die. While that's happening, things on the surface aren't looking good either. Deal realizes Ankeville is gone. He rings the bell to gather everyone. And by everyone, I mean all the insectoid villagers. They start swarming toward the center of the village. At the same time, the Order of the Rose Nuns arrives. These ladies were sent by the Alina Duchy for one job, to cleanse the village. And when they say cleanse, they don't mean heal. They mean eliminate every single living thing inside. As soon as the insectoids charge in, the nuns pull out their Reaper scythe weapons, guns, and even start casting powerful magic to wipe them out. One of the insectoids tries to attack the team leader, but before it can even get close, Lilia steps in. She cracks her red whip, and just like that, the insectoid drops dead on the spot. The village chief's family. Turns out they weren't just some traditional protectors of the village. They were guarding something way bigger. Hidden beneath the village was a fragment of the world's soul, one of the most powerful treasures in existence. But they had no clue what it really was. For generations, they treated it like some mysterious family secret, guarding it out of belief, not understanding the insane power it actually held. Now this Rekindler guy, he's a different story. Not only did he figure out exactly where the fragment was hidden, but he's been using its power for his own twisted plans, specifically to enhance the deep space parasite called the Myriad Spawn. Basically, he's tapping into god-level energy and using it to evolve a monster army. And now Bai Qi knows for sure, this world soul fragment absolutely cannot fall into anyone else's hands. It's way too dangerous. Here's some background lore for you. The world soul fragment is one of the 3 supreme treasures of this world. We're talking power that goes beyond logic, beyond understanding. 8 large fragments shattered off long ago and became the foundation of the 8 great nations. Even tiny pieces of contaminated fragments are insanely valuable, and the purer ones? They're priceless. The one hidden under this village is massive, second only to those fragments held by the great nations. Even if it's a bit contaminated, it's still powerful enough to build an entire city-state. And remember, Bai Qi's main goal is to become a king in this world. Now more than ever, he's dead set on claiming this fragment for himself. Dina then came up, thanking Bai Qi for defeating the village chief, but Bai Qi reminded him, this isn't the time to celebrate. The villagers who already mutated into insectoids, there's no coming back for them. And if they're left alive, they'll just end up killing more innocent people, maybe even Dina's own father. Things get even worse when Deal suddenly appears, holding his own wife hostage. He threatens both his son and Bai Qi, telling them to hand over the key or watch her die. Deal demands the rusted key that Bai Qi got from Ankeville. But Bai Qi isn't panicked. This was actually part of his plan all along. Truth is, he still doesn't know what the key opens, so giving it up doesn't hurt him. Once Deal gets the key, he lets his wife go. But of course, he's not done being a scumbag. As soon as he escapes, he orders his men to kill Bai Qi and the others. Bai Qi activates an AoE skill called Pierce Suffering, and in an instant, Deadly spikes shoot out all around him, wiping out every single attacker. Deal sees this, completely freaks out, and starts sprinting away at full speed. But right before he can get far, the Order of the Rose Nuns shows up and blocks his path. Liluya, the leader of the nuns, makes one thing very clear: everyone in this village is going to die. No exceptions. Then she pauses and looks at Bai Qi. Something about him feels different. In the blink of an eye, she appears right in front of him, staring him down, sniffing the air like a bloodhound. Just from a glance and a breath, she could tell Bai Qi isn't like the rest. There's something off about him. Let's talk about the Order of the Rose Nuns. These girls are the elite enforcers of the Crimson Sanctum from the Alina Duchy. Only the most stunning and physically fit maidens get selected, but even that's just the first step. Once chosen, they're forced to drink something called the rebirth fluid, a hallucinogenic poison that pushes them to the edge of life and death. The ones who survive that nightmare, they officially become nuns, and the real combat training starts after that. Right now, there are 5 nuns in this unit, and their team leader is none other than Liluya, a level 40 powerhouse. Now our guy Bai Qi knows better than to try his luck fighting 5 deadly nuns at once. So he plays it smart. He activates his invincibility and tries to slip away, even throwing out a little thanks to Liluya and the squad, hoping they'll handle the mutated villagers. But surprise, Liluya drops the hammer. They're not here to save anyone. Their job is to wipe out everything. Dina, hearing this, loses it. He argues it's not fair. After all, the village chief is dead and the only threats left are the mutated ones. Why kill innocent people too? Liluya doesn't care. She lashes her whip at Dina, but Bai Qi blocks it. He speaks up, saying he knows the sanctum and its ways. They don't just kill civilians for no reason. But Liluya doesn't buy it. How could an outsider like him know anything about their secret order? That's when Bai Qi shocks everyone by reciting one of the most sacred doctrines of the Crimson Sanctum, word for word. The nuns are stunned, but instead of backing down, they charge him. That's when Bai Qi pulls out Plan B. He uses an item that activates Bloom Crimson, and suddenly, a massive crimson flower erupts around them. The maidens back off and even bow, except for Liluya. The reason? That flower was triggered by the Crimson Rose, an ultra-rare sanctum badge that represents authority just below the hierarch herself. Seeing it, Liluya is forced to acknowledge that Bai Qi outranks her. Now while all that's happening, Deal tries to make a run for it. Liluya moves to stop him, but Bai Qi intercepts her, letting Deal escape. Because only Deal knows where the village chief's key is supposed to be used. Bai Qi makes it clear, he's not trying to protect a sinner, but for the bigger picture, Deal needs to get away. Liluya doesn't care about any of that and attacks him anyway. But again, Bai Qi activates his invincibility and vanishes. As he escapes, our boy finally makes a big move. Remember that 1-point account he still had? Instead of using it to unlock more of his current power, he opens a whole new game account. Epic of Civilization, a strategy and construction sim. Here, you're being the leader of an entire civilization, guiding it through time, all the way to the stars. Now Bai Qi links this new account to his main one from Throne of Souls. With this fusion, he activates the Civilization-era gameplay inside his current world, meaning he can now transform the ruined Anka village into a fully developed city-state, his future kingdom. This is huge for his mid to late game goals. Now let's check in on Deal. The guy finally reaches the location where the world's soul fragment is hidden. And waiting for him is the same rekindler who started all this mess. But he's changed. His form is way more twisted than before. Then it happens. The rekindler launches a bug into Deal's body, corrupting and transforming him completely. Deal's no longer the weak-willed NPC we saw earlier. Now he's a boss-level threat, a full-blown monster called the Aberrant Insect Sacred Punisher. He's level 40 and ready for war. Deal's own followers completely turned their backs on him. The plan was simple. Once Deal came out from inside, they were going to take him out. But oh boy, they had no idea what they were up against. Deal walked out in his new monstrous form, the Aberrant Insect Sacred Punisher. He drained the life right out of all of them. Then, our boy Bai Qi finally showed up to face this new boss. Deal launched straight into an attack, but Bai Qi stood firm, blocking every single blow. Then, when Deal tried to dash in again, Bai Qi unleashed Crimson Scorch and completely wrecked him. But remember, Bai Qi promised Dina that if Deal had to die, it would be by his hand, so he held back from finishing the job. Deal, lying there, starts mumbling some twisted stuff, saying he regrets not killing his family and even wishing he never had his son. That hit Bai Qi hard. It brought back painful memories from his past life when his own dad left him at just 5 years old and never came back. But even with all that pain bubbling up, Bai Qi pushed those memories aside and kept moving forward. He approached the door where the rekindler was hiding, only to realize it wouldn't budge. Turns out, this sanctum door needs something special, the key of attainment. Deal tried to use the key as leverage, threatening to destroy it if Bai Qi made a move. Leluya swooped in, snatched the key from his hand, and even stepped on him. In a final desperate move, Deal literally split his own head from his body in an attempt to escape. But right then, Dina appeared in front of him. No second thoughts. He looked his father dead in the eyes and took him out, not for revenge, but for justice. For his mother. For everyone in the village who suffered. And because of it, Dina leveled up. Now he's officially level 10. Leluya walked up to him and hit him with a cold question. How does it feel, killing your own blood? But before things could get tense, our boy Bai Qi stepped in and flipped the question right back at her. He asked her if this situation didn't remind her of her own past. It hit her. Leluya clutched her head as memories started flooding back. When she was just a child, she was captured, tortured, and suffered through hell. But one day, she broke free and burned the entire village to the ground. These weren't hallucinations. These were her real memories. But the reason she couldn't remember any of it before? It's because after she joined the Order of the Rose Nuns, they forcibly wiped everything from her mind. Now back to the mission. Bai Qi told Dina to get out of there immediately, while Leluya ordered the other maidens to open the sanctum door. The moment that door cracked open, an intense aura burst out from it. It straight up attacked them. That was the rekindler's way of saying, back off. When they got a good look inside, they were completely stunned. Right there in front of them was a fragment of the world soul. Something that powerful. It's way above the church's pay grade. It has to be reported directly to the queen. Just thinking about it made Leluya's heart race. If she pulled this off, her rank would skyrocket. She'd gain the ultimate honor. Then the system hit our boy with a massive update. New quests just dropped. First, he needs to obtain the world soul fragment. Second, he's got to use it as the foundation to start a new civilization. Anka village is now officially the starting point of his kingdom. But before any of that can happen, he's got to face what's inside. And that's the rekindler, now fully revealed as a boss-level enemy named Bugis. The moment Bugis started mocking them, Leluya stepped forward, completely confident. She told him not to get ahead of himself. He's only level 45, and with her and the other maidens combined, he didn't stand a chance. One of the maidens then used an item to scan him. Bugis isn't just some boss, he's a rekindler. That changed everything. Leluya immediately shouted for max combat protocols. All the maidens joined forces and launched a massive combined attack. It hit Bugis directly, but he survived. See, Bugis never planned to fight head-on. His real plan was to hide underground, level up slowly, and bide his time. And you know what he called them? NPCs. That's right. These rekindlers don't just think they're in control. They actually believe they're the players in some kind of twisted game. Then Bugis spread his blood across the battlefield, and it started corroding the maidens' bodies. As for our boy, he didn't rush in. He used invisibility to hide in the shadows. He knows better than to charge blindly. As Leluya saw her comrades getting corrupted right before her eyes, she started chanting, boosting the other maidens' magic, attack power, and even healing them. With their strength restored, they all charged straight at Bugis. Bugis started talking like he actually knows how the game works. He asked them about this so-called real world they mentioned, then mocked them saying, isn't life supposed to be the most precious thing? And told them they're stuck being just NPCs no matter what they believe. Then he released a toxic gas into the air. Their minds were hit with powerful illusions. The maidens got trapped in their own heads, thinking Bugis was some kind of savior. Leluya started reliving horrible memories. A massive man choking her, calling her a witch, and then suddenly, a new memory appeared. Bugis was in it, saving her. That was the illusion messing with her mind. Most of the maidens fell for it completely, actually believing Bugis was their hero. But Lilia managed to snap out of it, pushed through the lies with her own willpower, and shook off the illusion. Bugis noticed, impressed that she could resist it. But he wasn't done yet. He upgraded the toxin, made it even worse. That's when Lilia activated her ultimate move, Crimson Bloom. This skill is no joke. It's split into 3 tiers and requires a special potion made from mutated roses that's injected right near the neck. It jacks up her power like crazy. Because Bugis had control over the other maidens, he forced them to activate the same skill. Now they were all at full power, tier 3 just like her, and she had no choice. Lilia had to fight and kill her own sisters. Then Bugis stepped in personally. He unleashed his new form, a grotesque mutation called Myriad Spawn. Lilia struck first, using her whip, but Bugis grabbed it, yanked her in, and just pummeled her. He dragged her around, then smashed her into the ground with brutal force. Her HP was almost 0, so she made a final desperate move. She sacrificed her own life energy and triggered her trump card, Bloodthirsty Sacred Flower. This summoned a monstrous sacred flower from the Blood Sanctum, one that devours everything in its path, powered by her own tier 3 enhanced body. But even that wasn't enough. It only dropped Bugis's HP by a quarter. He broke out of it and was about to finish her off. In that moment, Lilia's real memories came rushing back. She finally remembered. On that day long ago, she was saved by the Supreme Queen herself. And just when Bugis was about to strike the final blow, our boy showed up. Bai Qi is back in the fight. He's done watching. Now that he understands what Bugis is and how he moves, it's time for him to step in and end this. Lilia and her 3 maidens had already fought Bugis and completely failed to beat him. That's why she was so confused watching Bai Qi step in. Like, how could he possibly handle something she and her whole squad couldn't? Bugis thought Bai Qi was just another NPC, so he started mocking him, not realizing who he was really messing with. Then he unleashed a massive AoE attack using his bug claws, trying to take everyone down at once. But Bai Qi moved fast, grabbing Lilia, protecting her. Bai Qi's level jumped, 7 full levels. He shot straight up to level 17, and that's when his true identity as a rekindler got revealed. Now, how did that level up happen so fast? After hitting level 10, players can start using soul points. These are basically experience points that you can invest however you want to grow stronger. Lilia was completely stunned. Another rekindler? And not just that. Why didn't the detection item pick up on Bai Qi's identity before? Well, that's thanks to the dagger he got from Princess Mina. Now let's talk about Bugis. He finally realized the person who had connected to his consciousness earlier wasn't some system glitch or higher being. It was Bai Qi all along. And Bai Qi figured something out too. Bugis is a rekindler from the Dark faction. That's right. Rekindlers aren't all on the same team. There are faction conflicts here. The two clash. Bugis charges in, but Bai Qi easily dodges. Bugis's class is a fusion of mage and myriad spawn traits. He's something called an insect caller. That class actually exists in the game, and Bai Qi knows exactly how to deal with it. Bugis quickly recovers and charges again, but Bai Qi just blitzes him. He's moving at a speed that Bugis simply can't keep up with. Every time Bugis tries something, he's already getting slashed from another angle. That's when Bugis decides to stop holding back. He pulls out an actual insect caller item and fuses with it. Now his whole form transforms, speed maxed out, HP full, and the real fight begins. The insect caller lets him bond with different types of insects, enhancing specific abilities depending on their traits. With his stats pumped up to the limit, Bugis dashes in. Bai Qi disappears. Completely vanishes from this world. Bugis is stunned. He's moving at top speed and still can't touch him. That's when Bai Qi explains the truth. Bugis has raw power, sure, but no real combat experience. He's juggling too many abilities without mastering any. Meanwhile, Bai Qi just unlocked a new skill, Shadow Step. This lets him phase out of the physical world and briefly enter the Shadow Realm. And using that skill back-to-back, Bai Qi keeps teleporting around, landing devastating slashes from every direction. Bugis is getting overwhelmed and furious. He yells out how Bai Qi ruined his entire strategy, just by staying hidden underground and leveling up smart. Then Bugis pulls his trump card, his ultimate skill, Summon Swarm. He calls in all the mutated villagers to swarm the area, hoping to turn the tide. But Bai Qi was already prepared. He still had the spirit summoning bell, remember? He rings it, and summons Ankaville, who absolutely wrecks the incoming horde. Bugis is fuming now. He's starting to lose it, thinking, how the hell does this guy know exactly how to counter every class? In desperation, Bugis makes a mad dash toward the world soul fragment, hoping to tap into its power and turn the tables. But Bai Qi's already on him. He chases him down and drives a blade straight into his back. And just as that happens, their consciousnesses link again. We get a glimpse into Bugis's past life, and it turns out, this guy used to be a world-class entomologist. In his previous life, Bugis was a top-tier biologist. The guy discovered a rare substance in insects that could actually extend human lifespan. He should have been world-famous, swimming in cash and praise. But instead, he got stabbed in the back, betrayed and framed by his own business partner. He could have let go of everything, but losing the one thing he poured his soul into, the perfect life form he created, that was too much to bear. So one day, broken and hopeless, Bugis stood on top of a tall building, ready to end it all. But right then, his creation, Boo, showed up. Boo wasn't just any insect. It was a transcendental species, something Bugis built through years of gene editing, failed experiments, and relentless obsession. Inside Boo was untapped power, something beyond human comprehension. Boo gave Bugis what he needed, power, and from that moment, Bugis stepped onto the path of revenge. That was the birth of the villain we're facing now. Back to the present, Bugis was now draining energy directly from the world soul fragment. And our boy Bai Qi, he knew if Bugis succeeded, it would be game over. So instead of going after Bugis himself, Bai Qi aimed for the fragment. But even after landing a clean hit, it didn't break. That's when Bugis revealed the truth. The fragment was coated in a special reinforced material he had personally extracted. Then something wild happened. The system popped up with a new notification. Core energy source required for civilization construction detected. This triggered the activation of the second auxiliary game account leader, and one of its core mechanics kicked in. Basically, this skill allows a player to claim a world object, making it exclusive to them. No one else can use it. So with that, the world soul fragment became bound to Bai Qi. Bugis could no longer drain its power. That right there is why you never underestimate strategy or sim-building games. They can flip an entire fight. Even though Bugis got cut off, he still managed to gather some energy before the bond changed. Liluya, watching everything unfold, thought to herself, if I team up with Bai Qi now, we might actually win. But she was still too weak to fight properly. That's when Bai Qi tossed her the Crimson Rose badge. It's insanely powerful when linked to a maiden from the church. The moment she caught it, every debuff she had vanished, and her power skyrocketed. Now we've got a 2v1 battle. Liluya lashes her whip, wrapping Bugis up and locking him in place. Bai Qi activates Shadow Killing Formation, attacking from every possible angle. Then Liluya hits her ultimate move, Demon Flower, unleashing a burst of dark, deadly energy. And Bai Qi follows it up with an item that looks like it came straight from a sci-fi dimension, Ancient Thunderclap, a deep space imitation weapon. The combo was brutal, and it worked. Bugis went down. Liluya leveled up, and Bai Qi unlocked something way more serious. A new function kicked in, the path between light and dark. Since Bai Qi just killed his first dark rekindler, the system now considers him involved in the eternal war between factions. He has to choose, either go neutral rekindler or align with the radiant rekindlers. But Bai Qi doesn't have enough info yet, so he decides to wait, not rushing into any big decision. And let's talk about the loot, because Bugis dropped some serious treasure. First up, the Insect Call Skill Book. This lets the user summon a whole swarm of insects, with their strength based on the host's attributes. Then there's the Insect Caller Set, a sorcerer-style gear set that boosts your connection to insects and powers up that summon skill. Next was the Myriad Spawn Body Fluid Extract, a potion that lets you temporarily mutate into a superpowered insectoid. 3 minutes of pure destruction. And finally, the Dark Rekindler Mark. This lets the holder temporarily act as a member of the Dark faction. But just as Bai Qi's about to celebrate, the system does something unexpected. He's teleported straight into the Dark Round Table Hall, and right there, his identity gets rewritten. His current name and role? Dark Rekindler Bugis. The system warns him loud and clear, "You better keep this cover intact. If anyone finds out his true identity, he's dead on the spot." The original game had that mysterious roundtable hall. It used to be a cool space where players and key NPCs could meet up, trade items, share info, all that good stuff. But now, that same feature has been hijacked by the Dark Rekindlers and turned into their own private online meeting group. From behind, a man named Hall, who's the administrator, shows up. He calls out to Bai Qi as Bugis and asks why he popped in today, since it's not their usual meeting day. That immediately raised red flags, because apparently, Bugis never shows up unless it's mandatory. But Bai Qi plays it smooth, saying, "What do you mean? Today is the meeting day." Hall quickly backs off and acts like he forgot, but it's clear he's hiding something. Then he leads our boy toward the meeting room, but Bai Qi already figured it out. This isn't just a friendly escort. Hall's trying to kill him. Bai Qi is currently level 40. Hall is trying to walk him through a level 60 door. And the game has rules. If someone with a low level crosses that threshold, the system will auto-kill them. And this isn't some one-time setup. Hall does this every time he suspects a rekindler is fake. But our boy acts exactly like the real Bugis would. That's the key. Hall brings up some excuse about identity theft being common lately, and that this was just a routine check. Bai Qi passes the test cleanly. Because when the system made him Bugis, it didn't just slap on the name. It also gave him access to parts of Bugis's memories, which helps him blend in perfectly. Once inside, the meeting begins. The place is filled with high-level dark rekindlers, all around level 45 and up. Some of them are immediately suspicious, thinking this Bugis might be fake. But Bai Qi holds his ground, simply saying, "If I wasn't the real one, the administrator wouldn't have let me in." End of discussion. Then we meet Pass, one of the dark rekindlers. He's pissed. Turns out, the original Bugis had sniped a powerful item at auction that Pass really wanted. So now Pass wants revenge. But our boy claps back hard, throwing shade like, "You got reborn into another world and still don't know how to make money? Trash." That hit deep. Pass is ready to throw hands right there. But another rekindler named Dark steps in, reminding them that this place is a neutral zone. No fighting allowed. If they really want to settle it, they should just drop their coordinates and do it in the real world. And just to clarify, they don't mean Earth. Real world here refers to the physical world inside this game's universe. Also, so far, there's no proof these rekindlers are like Bai Qi, reborn players from Earth. Then everything goes quiet. The Lord arrives. His name is Nick Hathaway, the cryptic Lord of the Black Rekindlers, level 50. He starts the meeting immediately, saying they've got 3 major topics to cover. First, he talks about how the global situation is shifting. 2 major forces, Hides and Windback, are now fighting at the border, all thanks to manipulation from the Dark Rekindlers. But there's a problem. Duchy Alina hasn't joined the war like they expected. So the new objective is to keep stirring things up and provoke Alina into joining the conflict. Then Nick turns to Pass and asks how many new rekindlers he's recruited this month. Pass just drops his head, "None." He met some, but they all refused. Because every rekindler is unique and doesn't want to be bound by contracts or pacts. After being reborn, they want their own freedom. Nick explodes, calling Pass useless trash. He says Pass should have just tempted them with rare resources and power. Another rekindler tries to calm Nick down, pointing out that their faction still has more members than the neutral and radiant rekindlers combined. Nick praises Bugis, which is actually Bai Qi, for the chaos he created in Alina and how it helped Nick's own missions there succeed. As a reward, Nick raises Bugis's authority level to 49. This gives Bai Qi access to top-tier info and elite merchant shops. Pass hears this and his eyes light up. His plan? Let Bugis buy all the powerful stuff, then ambush him and steal it all. But Bai Qi stays 2 steps ahead. He makes a bold request. He wants authority to recruit new members. This directly steps on Pass's turf, and Pass is furious. But Nick approves it. He tells Bai Qi the more people he brings into the Dark Rekindlers, the better the rewards he'll earn. Our boy started exploring even further. He finally reaches the Dark Merchant Guild, and the moment he steps in, he's greeted by an insanely beautiful woman. This is no ordinary NPC. Her name is Bloody Mary, the charming merchant. Bugis used to flirt with her all the time, so Bai Qi keeps up the act and plays along. throwing in a few flirty lines just to stay in character. Mary, amused but also doing her job, shows him everything she's got for sale. Since Bai Qi now has purchase access level 49, she opens up the high-tier catalog. One particular item instantly stands out: Base Pioneer. This thing is a legit deep space item. Its function? It can repair structures, build new ones, and restore damaged areas. But it needs a ton of energy to run. Mary's asking for 1 million gold coins, hoping to land a sucker. But our boy's not falling for it. He offers 10,000 gold coins, just 10,000. Mary tries to play him, thinking he doesn't understand what deep space items are worth. But Bai Qi hits back, calm and sharp. Who in their right mind is dropping 1 million on a glorified house builder? If you don't sell it, it's gonna rot in your inventory forever. That hit her where it hurt. The truth is, Base Pioneer is originally a level 99 item, but because no one ever bought it, its value dropped all the way down to level 49. Annoyed but cornered, Mary agrees to sell, but she wants something in return, a favor. Bai Qi accepts, but only if it's reasonable. Right after, the system confirms it. Bai Qi got the Base Pioneer through trade, and now he's locked into a contract with Bloody Mary. She can request one favor appropriate to his level, and he can't refuse it. That could come back later, so keep it in mind. By solving the Anka village anomaly, Bai Qi just earned 1 account unlock point, bringing his total to 2. And since he reached 100% exploration in Anka village, a new hidden story unlocked. Turns out, Manhwa, the first king of the Star Glory dynasty, was originally an orphan from Anka village. That little forgotten place. It has royal blood in its history. Then we jump back to the present. Dina gathers the villagers and proudly tells them that the one who saved them, the true hero, is Bai Qi. The people thank him, but there's real concern now. The village is in ruins. How are they going to rebuild? That's when Bai Qi pulls out his ace, the Base Pioneer. Once activated, the ship links itself to the underground world soul fragment, and the wireless charging begins instantly. One scan, and the Base Pioneer starts repairing the entire village like a futuristic architect. Leluya is stunned. Even she didn't expect Bai Qi to have something this powerful. She immediately offers to introduce him to the Queen of the Duchy of Alina, thinking he'd be a valuable ally for their country. But Bai Qi's response: "I'm walking the path to become a king. Why would I serve under someone else?" That left Leluya completely speechless. Anka village has always been independent. It never belonged to any kingdom, and now Bai Qi wants to make it the start of something even greater. Still, Leluya presses. Even if you want to stay independent, how are you going to handle military pressure from neighboring powers? Bai Qi already has it planned. He says he needs her help only for diplomatic introductions, nothing more. He's not looking to be a subordinate. He wants to negotiate like a leader of a sovereign land. Leluya doesn't hide her disappointment, but Bai Qi keeps it respectful. It's just a request. Whether you help or not, it's your choice. And with that, she leaves. But her leaving wasn't for nothing, because the system immediately updates his reputation with the Order of the Rose Nun, flipping it from hostile to friendly. After unlocking that ancient epoch of civilization account, Bai Qi triggered a brand new main quest, Kingdom Rising. His mission? Turn Anka village into the foundation of his own kingdom. So to get started, Bai Qi activated the leader form tied to that account, which unlocked a powerful new ability, the God's Eye view. Imagine a full top-down simulation interface like in city-building games, but instead of on a screen, it's beamed directly into his brain, no interference with his normal vision. With this godlike perspective, Bai Qi could now use the world's soul fragment as the kingdom's core and start expanding territory step by step. But there's a catch. Since the account is only 25% unlocked, the efficiency of using the soul fragment is also stuck at 25%. Our boy started playing around with the God's Eye view, checking how far he could zoom and move around. Just like in the game, the unexplored areas beyond the village were hidden under fog, but the charcoal jungle nearby? It was already 90% explored. Then, he zoomed toward the underground fissure, right where he had fought earlier, and spotted something unsettling. Down there, something was moving. By zooming in, he realized a demon army was on the move. Then it hit him. This was the aftermath of the first king's sword strike. It had awakened the sealed demons below. Instantly, the system hit him with a warning. Demon army will reach Anka village in 15 hours. No time to waste. Bai Qi ordered Dina to gather every villager. He stood before them and explained what was coming. Some of the older folks didn't take him seriously, until Heen, the oldest resident at 108 years old, stepped up. He told them an old tale. Centuries ago, demons would pour out from Black Mountain, terrorizing everyone. That is, until a young man from the village defeated them and sealed them underground, bringing peace for generations. Now the villagers believed. They agreed to take shelter, trusting Bai Qi to handle the incoming chaos. With the pressure on, it was time to build defenses. The game had swapped out the old civilization-era blueprints and handed him ones fit for this world's current setting. Here's what he got. Thorny city walls, thick and spiked, hard to climb. Giant force-piercing arrows, designed to tear through armored enemies. Evil flame breath, flamethrower-style traps to burn everything in range. Ground spike trap, hidden traps that pop up and impale intruders. Using all of this, Bai Qi began crafting the ultimate defense line around the village. 15 hours later, the demon army arrived. Leading them was Demon Lord Kumo, level 30, fueled by one goal, revenge. Because long ago, the man who sealed him underground came from this very village. And now, Kumo wanted to wipe out his descendants. But Bai Qi was ready. As the demons marched forward, the ground spike traps sprung up, skewering the front lines. Then came the piercing arrows, raining down destruction. After that, evil flame breath blasted through the waves of demons, roasting anyone who got close. Kumo finally spotted Bai Qi and realized he was the mastermind behind this wall of death. By the time the dust settled, the once mighty demon army was down to just 256 survivors. After losing most of his army, Kumo is furious. He doesn't care about the village, the people, or even the war itself. He only wants the human who sealed him underground centuries ago. With pure rage, Kumo yells out a new command: merge formation, long-range counterattack. Suddenly, the demon army shifts tactics. They start targeting Bai Qi's defenses with precision. These aren't just mindless monsters. They're actually working like a trained unit. Bai Qi immediately jumps into the battlefield himself, slicing down demons one after another at insane speed. But as he fights, something clicks. These demons are way smarter than the ones that crawled out of the demon rift before. Way too organized. And then it gets worse. Kumo's forces begin attacking from underground. Bai Qi realizes his current class, Shadow Assassin, is great for single-target combat, but not ideal when he's getting swarmed like this. So he does what any legend would do. Suddenly, the sky cracks with lightning. The ground trembles, and then a giant insectoid beast bursts out of the ground. Even Kumo's like, how the hell can a human control insectoids? What he doesn't know is that Bai Qi just swapped classes using the insect call skill, which he got from the Rekindler. This forced his class to change to Insect Caller, and on top of that, his new armor buffs all insect attributes by 100%. But there's a catch. Activating this stripped skill disables the auxiliary account powers, which means all the defense constructions, spike traps, arrows, flames, completely shut down. Kumo, of course, notices this instantly. He gathers his remaining 208 demon soldiers and orders a full charge. But Bai Qi isn't panicking. He unleashes Insectoid Mass, a skill that wipes out 50 more demons and transforms them into Insectoid Demonkin, now under his control. So now it's 158 demons versus 50 Insectoid minions. Chaos breaks out as the two armies collide. And after a brutal fight, Kumo's army is wiped out. All of it. Bai Qi still standing with 10 of his Insectoid Demonkin by his side. Then, in classic protagonist fashion, Bai Qi gives Kumo a chance, one-on-one. But Kumo isn't thrilled. In fact, he's straight up rattled. He feels more pressure from Bai Qi than he did from the legendary man who sealed him centuries ago. Bai Qi humbly responds, "I'm nowhere near that man's level. He was the king of humankind." Then something unexpected happens. Bai Qi asks him, "Why are you so different from other demon lords? You're not driven purely by bloodlust or destruction." Kumo's eyes widen. Wait, what? Even he didn't notice the difference until now. Then Kumo actually asks, "Did my race seriously become a bunch of mindless, bloodthirsty idiots while I was sealed away?" That's when everything clicks for Bai Qi. He pieces it together. Because Kamo is an ancient demon who's been sealed underground. He wasn't exposed to the chaotic energy left behind when the world's soul shattered. That's why he preserved his awareness, his intelligence. Hearing this, Kamo just goes silent. The world's soul, shattered, he mutters. It's like someone just pulled the floor out from under him. He slowly shifts back into his original form. And bro, this dude is absurdly handsome. Like anime final boss levels of handsome. Even Bai Qi's caught off guard by how good-looking he is. But that's not even the twist. Kamo admits, I don't have a reason to fight anymore. I only wanted the world's soul. But if it's already shattered, then my existence means nothing. And just like that, he looks Bai Qi in the eye and basically says, finish it. Let's rewind a bit and get into Kamo's backstory. So back when Kamo was just a kid, he saw the world's soul with his own eyes. That one moment changed everything for him. Right there, he decided he wanted it for himself. That glowing, divine core of the world, he wanted to make it his. But now, it's shattered, completely destroyed. So from Kamo's perspective, what's the point of living anymore? He straight up lowered his guard and told Bai Qi to just kill him. And honestly, our boy considered it for a second. Who wouldn't? Free XP and possible loot drop from a demon lord? Sounds like a win. But instead of going for the kill, Bai Qi hit him with a curveball. He offered Kamo a new path, help him become king instead. But of course, Kamo's still a proud demon warrior at heart. Serving someone, not really his vibe. So he charges at Bai Qi full speed, ready to go out with a bang. But then, our boy casually drops one sentence that stops Kamo in his tracks. What if I could repair the world's soul? Instant silence. Kamo, the proud, furious demon who was ready to die, just froze mid-attack. The dude literally stopped moving. His pride? Gone. Bai Qi took him to the fragment of the world's soul, and as soon as Kamo saw it, he broke down. This mighty demon started crying over how something once so divine had been reduced to this broken piece. Then he asked Bai Qi, can you really fix it? And our boy switched back to his assassin class, bringing back all the auxiliary account skills. Then, he ordered the world's soul fragment to awaken. Light started shining from it again. Kamo was stunned. He now knew for sure Bai Qi wasn't just talking big. He could actually fix it. Moved beyond belief, Kamo dropped all hesitation and made a demon contract with Bai Qi right there. Our boy accepted, and just like that, Bai Qi now has a high-ranking demon lord as his loyal servant. And this contract, it's the real deal. Kamo won't be able to betray Bai Qi no matter what. He'll follow every single command with full loyalty. The only condition? Bai Qi has to fulfill his promise to repair the world's soul. There's no deadline, but once that promise is kept, the contract ends. Our boy even unlocked a new achievement. Many hands make light work. And this one comes with a number, meaning he's just unlocked the ability to gather even more loyal followers like Kamo in the future. Fast forward a bit. Bai Qi doesn't waste any time. First order of business? Get rid of the mountain of demon corpses outside Anka village before they rot and cause a plague. And of course, this task is child's play for Kamo. His ability to control demons still works even on dead ones. He can bring them back as zombie workers. They won't be useful in battle, but perfect for heavy lifting and cleanup duty. Next morning rolls around, and now we zoom out to the Alina Duchy, about 50 kilometers west of Anka village. The Oxus territory is under heavy siege. An endless demon army is pushing through. Defenses are holding for now, but it's a desperate struggle. Leo Oxus, the lord of the region, is already doing what he can. He sent out messengers to nearby territories for reinforcements, trying to stay calm. His wife is visibly shaken, struggling to keep it together, while their daughter Layla is trying to comfort her. Layla even prays to the gods for protection, hoping for a miracle to save them. But you and I both know, when it comes to miracles in this world, there's only one guy who's got what it takes to pull them off. Just then, a servant rushed in to report the worst news. Demons were about to breach the city gate. The Lord's wife was on the verge of breaking down completely, and honestly, can you blame her? The woman's sick and everything's collapsing around her. She tried to run off on her own, clearly not thinking straight. But Lord Leo caught her in his arms, held her tight, and gently reminded her of the promise he once made, to always protect her, no matter the danger. This man, 60 years old, still head over heels for his wife, and ready to put everything on the line for her. That's a real one. Hearing his words brought her back to herself. She apologized for losing it, then collapsed from the sheer fright. Leo didn't get mad. Instead, he explained everything to their daughter Layla, letting her know her mother wasn't weak or cowardly. She once gave up her noble life to follow him to this borderland and help him build a home out of nothing. And the real reason she's like this? When Layla was born, she nearly died in childbirth, and her baby wasn't even breathing. That trauma left a deep scar. But despite all that, Layla stood firm and said it out loud. No matter what her mother becomes, she'll always love her. Then Leo put on his armor, and man, what a sight. 60 years old and still looking like a war god. He stood strong for his people, for his land, for his family. The castle gates broke, and demons poured in, but Leo didn't flinch. He picked up his weapon and started cutting down demon after demon, proving that age means nothing when your spirit's that strong. The soldiers were blown away by his strength, some probably wondering if they were witnessing a legend in action. But the mood quickly shifted when 3 soldiers were instantly killed by a powerful elite demon named Thornhammer Earl. This demon wasn't just strong, he was cocky. Earl offered a deal: leave the territory, give up everything, and he'd spare the lives of the remaining people. The soldiers, they took the offer and ran, abandoning their home, their comrades, everything. Earl laughed at their cowardice, mocking human values like loyalty and courage. But Leo wasn't about to roll over. He charged straight in, even though Earl blocked and countered, sending him crashing hard. It looked bad. Earl raised his weapon to finish the job, but that's when Layla entered. Arrows flew, and she forced Earl to back off. Even as the demons surrounded her, some whispering the worst kinds of threats, Layla stood tall. Her body trembled, not from fear of death, but because her dreams still hadn't come true, and she refused to die without realizing it. And just when it seemed like all hope was lost, a powerful presence stopped everyone cold. Bai Qi arrived riding on Kumo, who had taken the form of a house mount. The demon lord himself showed up as Bai Qi's ride. Kumo gave a single command, his voice thunderous. He told Earl to kneel to his master. And what happened next? Earl and every single demon there bowed down before Bai Qi and Kumo. Layla finally feels like her prayers were heard. The city was saved, her father lived, and help came at the perfect time. But hold up, there's still a bit of drama. Earl, that elite demon who got his pride hurt, isn't happy. He straight up questions the demon lord Kumo, like, "Bro, why are you letting a human ride you like that?" Bai Qi asks Kumo why he can't fully control Earl. That's when Kumo drops the truth. He can 100% control regular demons, but when it comes to elite ones like Earl, his control drops to 70%. So Bai Qi just shrugs it off and handles it the only way he knows how. He dashes in and cleanly decapitates Earl. The moment Earl's head hits the floor, every other demon there starts trembling. They immediately kneel. Full submission. No more questions. At this point, Leo, the 60-year-old beast of a man, walks up to Bai Qi, thanks him, and politely asks which noble family he's from. Bai Qi's answer? "I'm just a commoner from Anka village." Leo suddenly remembers Anka village. He used to be friends with the village chief, but after a plague hit years ago, the whole place was sealed off. He never heard from the village again, and then the royal capital ordered him to attack it. But Leo refused. He used every excuse he could to avoid that order. Deep down, he believed Anka village was already doomed. Bai Qi calmly explains that things have changed. The strange events that haunted the village are over, and even though the chief passed away, Bai Qi promises to breathe new life into the place. Then Leo, grateful and impressed, does what any good lord would do. He asks what reward Bai Qi wants. Our savior says Anka village needs people. It's in a rebuilding phase and urgently needs new blood, young folks, skilled workers, anyone who can help restore the village. Second, he wants to open trade routes and deeper cooperation between Anka and Oxus territory. He's thinking long-term. Layla was stunned. After everything he did, he didn't even ask for gold or treasures, just support for his village. Leo agrees. He says the capital won't like it, but he promises to do everything in his power to make it happen. Then, just when things are calming down, Leo's wife starts losing her mind again. She's terrified, thinking the demons are still attacking. Her condition worsens. She doesn't even recognize Leo anymore. Layla wants to comfort her mom, But Leo stops her and tells her to escort their savior to the guest room. Bai Qi sees this and can't just stand by. So he pulls out a level 60 mental potion called Awakening. He uses it on Leo's wife, and in seconds, the fog in her mind clears. Just like that, she fully regains her senses, her memory, everything. It's like she was never sick to begin with. When she looks at Leo, she recognizes him. Layla sees this miracle unfold right in front of her. She can't hold back. She breaks down in tears, completely overwhelmed. In that moment, she sees Bai Qi not just as a warrior, but as an actual savior, like an angel sent just for them. Let's talk about those cowardly soldiers. You remember them, the ones who ran away and left the king and his daughter to face the demons alone like absolute trash? Well, they came back, walked right back like nothing happened, begging for forgiveness and blaming the demons for clouding their judgment. Come on now, seriously? What a pathetic excuse. Layla wasn't buying any of it either. She called them out right away, saying they only came back because they saw the danger was over and figured they could save face. Straight up shameless behavior. But Bai Qi, being calm as always, pointed out that while betrayal is betrayal, they still needed manpower. The army was low, and that was a fact. One of the soldiers, clearly picked to speak for the rest, swore it would never happen again. He looked all serious, promising they'd never betray their lord again. So our boy Bai Qi had an idea. He turned to Kumo and told him to bring out that contract item. Kumo summoned a magic stone slab, the kind that binds people with contracts using magic. Basically, you put your hand on it, swear your terms, and the slab seals the deal. The king stepped up first. He placed his hand on it and declared that as long as the soldiers sincerely wanted to return and sign this contract, he'd forgive their betrayal and treat them the same as before. But the soldier dude hesitated. That's when Bai Qi looked at him and asked, "What's wrong? Was your big speech just a lie?" That called him out real quick. The soldier nervously put his hand on the slab and swore on behalf of his comrades that they'd never betray the king again and would serve him loyally for life. The contract activated. Done deal. Then our demon Kumo stepped in, and bro, he made sure no one thought of breaking it. He explained that if anyone violated the contract, they'd be torn apart by 5 demons, wherever they tried to run. The moment he said that, the soldiers turned pale, shaking in their armor. The Lord threw a big feast to celebrate, and he invited Bai Qi to stay the night as a guest. All seemed normal until something interesting happened. Kumo, just doing his own thing, noticed Layla heading toward Bai Qi's room. And let's just say, he could tell she was in the mood. Layla was lying on her bed earlier, all dressed up in some seductive nightwear, thinking about everything that had happened. Then she got up, went to Bai Qi's room, and knocked. When Bai Qi opened the door, she stood there looking all elegant, but clearly had one thing in mind. Our boy didn't want to let her in, but Layla wasn't playing. She pushed him into the room and pinned him down. She explained that she'd made a vow to give herself only to the one who saved their city, and she believed Bai Qi was sent by the gods to do just that. It got heated. Bai Qi was visibly losing control for a second, and he got on top of her. But here's where things really speak volumes about his character. Instead of giving in, he pulled back. He told her straight up he wasn't sent by any god. Layla tried to keep pushing, not wanting to let go of the moment. So he gently hit the back of her neck, knocking her out cold. He tucked her in and walked away. No matter how tempting, he wasn't going to take advantage of someone in that state. Respect. The next morning, Bai Qi went to check in with the king to confirm the contract details. Once everything was squared away and good to go, Bai Qi was ready to leave. But right before he could, Layla appeared, and she dropped a bomb. She asked her father to marry her to Bai Qi. Both the king and Bai Qi were completely stunned, frozen in place. Her father pulled her aside and was like, "What are you saying? Marriage isn't some game you play for fun." But Layla stood her ground. She told him she loves Bai Qi and that this isn't some random crush. This is fate. This is what the gods wanted. Now Leo tried to bring in the politics card. He explained that Bai Qi represents Anka village, which right now is basically a thorn in the kingdom's side. The stuff Bai Qi promised earlier, Leo could brush it off as a favor between warriors. But marriage? That's a whole new level. That's an alliance. And if this gets out, it could drag both Oxus and Anka village into a mess they won't come back from. But did that stop Layla? Hell no. She didn't blink. She said none of that matters because it's all part of divine will. Leo just sighed because, well, he knows his daughter. Once she's locked in, there's no talking her out of it. Then Leo just accepted it and started hyping his daughter up to Bai Qi like her wingman. He bragged about how she's not just beautiful, but also the only daughter he's got, trained in music, theory, chess, riding horses, shooting arrows, you name it. She's got the brains and the heart, treats her people with kindness and grace. Bai Qi, being our humble king in the making, tried to dodge it. Said he's honored and all, but reminded everyone that he's just a commoner with no noble background. But Layla wasn't having it. She told him she's ready to give up everything and live like a commoner just to be by his side. At this point, Bai Qi's probably sweating bullets. So he pulls out the big card, tells her that he's got ambitions. He wants to start from Anka village, build up the nearby unclaimed lands, and eventually create his own kingdom. He can't be tied down right now. Layla, hearing this, was shocked, but in a good way. She respected his dream and said she'll wait for that day when he comes back to marry her. Straight up ride-or-die loyalty. And just like that, they wrap things up. Bai Qi and the king said their goodbyes, and this whole situation finally came to an end. Now flash forward, we're back in Anka village. The refugees from Oxus arrived and were blown away. The village looked amazing, way more advanced than what they were used to. But even with all this peace around, our boy Bai Qi was deep in thought. The threat of the demon army still loomed. If they didn't act fast, things would only get worse. So Bai Qi turned to Kumo and asked the real question. How many demons actually escaped from underground? Kumo dropped some heavy lore. After the epic battle with that man, their base at Black Mountain got annihilated and they were sealed beneath the demon rift there. Besides Kumo, there's another demon lord still sealed underground. And this one, way stronger than Kumo. His army is bigger, he's more brutal, and he lives for war. Kumo straight up told Bai Qi that if he fought this guy now, he wouldn't stand a chance. That's when Bai Qi realized this was bigger than anything he imagined. In the original game world, there were demon rifts of all sizes scattered around, but the biggest one was called the Dark Abyss. It was like the prison for elite demons. If those monsters ever escaped, it would be the end of the world. That's why the 8 great kingdoms had formed a defense pact. They took turns guarding it, installing high-tech gear to keep everything in check. Thanks to that, this region had seen peace for over 100 years. But peace doesn't last forever. So Bai Qi ordered Kumo to take him to the demon rift underground. They headed out, and once they got there, Bai Qi saw something he never expected. This dungeon didn't exist in the game. This was a whole new instance, which meant anything could happen. New enemies, unknown traps, unpredictable danger. He had to be careful. As he went deeper inside, things got real. The demon Lord Kumo warned him about? He was right there, in the middle of trying to break the seal holding him back. And now Bai Qi, he's walking straight into a face-to-face with a demon even Kumo doesn't want to mess with. As Bai Qi and Kumo ventured deeper into the underground demon rift, Kumo started opening up about his past, and it hit kind of hard. Turns out, Kumo came to the human world through this exact rift. But back in the demon world, life wasn't exactly sunshine and rainbows. Since he was young, he was treated like trash, outcast, mocked, bullied, all because he wasn't like the other demons. While they were all about killing and bloodlust, Kumo just wanted to appreciate beautiful things. He had an eye for art, not destruction. And for demons, that was enough to make him an outsider. Curious, Bai Qi asked if this place connected to the demon plane. Kumo explained that yeah, it is, and honestly, it's as awful as you'd expect. A world filled with malice, scorching heat in every direction, and demons everywhere with zero appreciation for beauty or anything remotely artistic. But one thing stood out, something that made Bai Qi's eyes go wide. The demon plane has a giant gold vein. No joke, an entire mountain of solid gold just sitting there. At that moment, Bai Qi's brain probably went full businessman mode. Like, a mountain of gold. You know what that means. He immediately decided he wanted to go there, have Kumo control his demon forces, and start mining that gold. With that kind of treasure, money problems? Gone. Forever. But before the gold fever could kick in too hard, something changed. They sensed a powerful demon aura ahead of them. The seal was near. Bai Qi switched his class to Insect Caller, while Kumo transformed into his fat battle form, ready for combat. And just ahead of them was the level 40 demon lord himself, Mateus. Around him were mages charging a massive magic circle to break the seal and bring Mateus and his whole army into the human world. The ritual wasn't complete yet, but they were getting close. That's when our boy and Kumo stepped in. Mateus took one look at Kumo and couldn't help but laugh. The idea of Kumo submitting to a human? Hilarious to him. Just like old times, he mocked Kumo just like he used to back when they were young. But Kumo isn't the same helpless demon anymore. And this time, it's his turn to bully the bully. Bai Qi didn't waste any time either. He made it clear, he's here to take over the demon rift and kill Mateus. Mateus laughed in his face, until Bai Qi suddenly teleported behind him in a flash and slashed his back. Caught completely off guard, and that slash was poisoned. With Mateus frozen and weakened, Bai Qi stepped back and told Kumo it's time to settle this personally. Kumo charged straight in and stabbed Mateus right through. Mateus didn't even flinch. He was stabbed, but still standing. And instead of panicking, he actually praised Kumo, said he was proud of him. But it wasn't a genuine compliment. It was mockery wrapped in fake praise. Because here's where things twist. Mateus hinted that all the bullying Kumo went through as a kid wasn't just to be cruel. There was a deeper reason behind it, something tied to Kumo's brother. Just then, the mages began chanting again, this time casting a buffing spell that supercharged Mateus. His attributes shot through the roof. The stab wound healed instantly, and now he was stronger than ever. And with that eerie smirk, Mateus looked at Kumo and said now, finally, he can fulfill the dying wish of Kumo's brother. Now to really get what's happening, we gotta take a quick trip to the past. Back in the demon realm, Kumo's big brother, Callan, was actually the current head of their demon clan. One day, Callan stood before everyone and announced that he'd attempt the ritual of baptism the next morning. If he succeeded, he'd officially become a true demon lord. But if he failed, his body and soul would be wiped out, completely gone. Before going through with it, Callan met with Mateus and told him something important. If I don't make it, promise me you'll look after my little brother, Kumo. Now, Mateus at the time was confident Callan would pass. He brushed off Kumo, even calling him weak and fragile. But Callan? He saw something else in Kumo. Something special. Something the others were too blind to see. Fast forward, Callan failed the ritual. He died. Soul, body, everything erased. Furious and devastated, Mateus went looking for Kumo. When he found him, Kumo was just a little kid, lost in his own world, chasing beauty in a realm of monsters. That only made Mateus angrier. He couldn't believe Kumo was acting so carefree right after his brother's death. In his eyes, Kumo was a disgrace to the clan. Now we're back to the present. After all these years, Mateus finally admits it. He was wrong. Kumo, that same little kid, actually managed to pass the ritual later and became a real demon lord. But things get heated again. Mateus goes in for an attack. Kumo tries to block it, but his weapon shatters and he takes damage. Still, he's not backing down. Kumo fights back with a whirlwind of furious slashes, but despite all that effort, Mateus's HP barely drops. Those mages nearby are still boosting him with buffs. Kumo realizes he's not going to win like this. Not alone. Then bam! Our boy Bai Qi swoops in and slices down all those mages in one clean sweep. Bai Qi looks at Mateus and calls him out. What happened to demon rules and dignity? But Mateus says rules and dignity are just stories. In real battles, winning is all that matters. Funny enough, Bai Qi actually agrees. All right then, let's do this proper. And now it's a 2-on-1. But don't get too comfy. Mateus had already absorbed enough power from the magic circle. He unleashes a massive burst of demonic energy, blasting both of them back. Bai Qi's got a problem now. Neither his insect caller nor assassin class has the edge here. So he does what any crazy genius would do. He gambles on unlocking a new game account. And luck was on his side again. The system scans the area, detects a huge amount of demonic energy, and it triggers something rare. Instead of a normal account, Bai Qi gets one that's perfect for this situation. He unlocks an account from the Demon Slayer game. You play as a forbidden child, born from a demon and an angel, raised in the human world. But after your foster parents get killed by the combined forces of heaven and hell, you go on a rampage. You destroy heaven. You tear through hell. Now, you're a monster feared by angels and demons alike. Instantly, he unlocks powerful armor and weapons. The moment he equips them, the entire battlefield shifts. Kamo freezes. Even Mateus is visibly shaken. The aura pouring off Bai Qi is something else. Mateus senses the danger and panics. He tries to flee back into the demon rift, but it's too late. Bai Qi fires his claw hook, snatches him back, and charges in for a brutal slash from behind. But Bai Qi doesn't stop there. He grabs hold of Mateus and starts draining his blood. Our boy was standing tall, blade in hand, ready to land the final blow. Mateus had already accepted defeat. They fought fair and square, and he knew he lost. But just when it was about to end, Bai Qi pulled back his blade. Mateus was confused. His eyes widened as he realized Bai Qi wasn't going to kill him. At first, Mateus looked like he was scared of dying, trembling and frozen. Bai Qi caught on to that real quick and straight up told him, "There's no shame in fearing death. That's basic biology." Mateus tried to keep his pride, but our boy wasn't here to lecture or show mercy for no reason. He had a plan. Instead of killing him, Bai Qi offered something else. Work under him, just like Kamo. Now this hit Mateus hard. A proud demon commander? Working under a human? He was pissed. Kamo immediately stepped up, ready to slice him for insulting Bai Qi, but our boy stopped him. "Hold up," he said. "If he submits, he's employee number 2, right below you. You'll be his senior." So now the tables turned. Kamo, the one always looked down on, gets to boss around Mateus? Karma at its finest. Mateus, not willing to accept that humiliation, dashed toward the demon rift, trying to make a clean escape. But the rift rejected him. Bai Qi told him straight, "That demon rift, it's his now. Remember, with the pioneer's skill, he can take ownership of anything he conquers. That includes rifts." Then something curious came up. Bai Qi turned to Kamo and asked if the idea of clans was common among demons. Kamo explained it well. Only the elite demons bother with clans. There are 4 major ones that dominate the demon realm. Kamo and his brother came from the Ka clan. Mateus is from the Typhon clan. Then there are 2 more unnamed ones. Each clan is led by a demon king. And above all of them, above the 4 demon kings, stands one supreme being, the demon god. But even high-ranking demons hardly ever get to see him. He's like a living myth. Our boy couldn't help but think back to the original game. In that world, you barely got any lore on demons. Most of the information was buried deep in flavor texts and item descriptions. So Bai Qi gave Mateus a deal. "You want to go home? Sign a contract with me. I'll take you there." The two went back and forth a bit, some pride here, some insults there. But in the end, Mateus gave in and signed the contract. Just like that, the new trio, Bai Qi, Kamo, and now Mateus, stepped into the demon plane. But what waited for them wasn't glory. Mateus looked around and froze. His home gone. His clan wiped out. All that remained were ruins. Hundreds of years passed, but still, it hit hard. Then from behind, the old butler of Mateus showed up. The guy had survived all this time. He explained everything. Turns out the Ball clan was behind the destruction. 200 years ago, they ambushed the other 3 clans, crushing them, enslaving most of the demons, and seizing control of the entire demon realm. They're now the top dogs. Mateus was furious. His blood was boiling. He wanted to get revenge right there on the spot. But Bai Qi noticed something odd. Kamo wasn't reacting at all. His clan got destroyed too, yet he was just standing there. When asked about it, Kamo said it plain and simple. No one in his clan ever treated him well. Even after passing the ritual and becoming a demon lord, they still looked down on him. So he had no reason to care. Back to business. Bai Qi was buzzing with excitement. He saw this place not as ruins, but as a gold mine. He knew Mateus no longer had manpower since his clan was gone, but our boy already planned ahead. He had Kamo collect demon corpses from around the area, ones that weren't too far gone. With that, they could raise a working army. Now this undead workforce is ready to mine the mountain dry. And since Bai Qi's pioneer account is only 25% unlocked, the amount of gold he can convert from demon realm resources to real-world coins is also 25%. But that's still a lot. He's literally farming hell for profit. If things keep going like this, the richest man in the world? That's going to be our boy. Now guys, remember Pass, that sneaky rekindler from the Dark faction? After burning through a fortune, he finally tracked down Bugis, or more accurately, Bai Qi. His original plan was to sneak in at night, real stealthy, but luck was on his side. Anka village had just started accepting immigrants, so he slipped in right through the front gate without raising a single eyebrow. Dina was there, doing what he does best, greeting newcomers and making sure no shady characters slipped in. Pass walked up to him, pretending to be a traveling cultivator curious about the church. Word on the street was Bai Qi had built a church here and squeezed a ton of money out of the believers. Dina, still unaware, pointed him in the right direction. But the moment Pass walked away, Dina's instincts kicked in. Something wasn't right. That scent, the faint smell of blood. And the aura? Way too dark. Dina knew he couldn't just ignore it, especially with Bai Qi not around. Later that night, he quietly followed Pass, keeping his distance, watching his every move. But suddenly, Pass vanished. He popped up right behind Dina like he was expecting him. Turns out, Pass knew the whole time that Dina sensed the blood on him. Dina tried to cover it up, acting casual, saying he just came to invite him to the welcome banquet in the village square. But Pass wasn't fooled for a second. As Dina turned to leave, trying to play it safe, Pass threw a dagger straight at him, ripped his leg right off. Dina collapsed. Pass dashed in and stabbed him, ending his life on the spot. A few hours later, a drunk villager wandered through the area and stumbled across Dina's lifeless body, blood soaking into the dirt. When Bai Qi got back to the village and heard what happened, he lost it. This wasn't just anger. This was something darker. The air around him turned heavy. His aura was demonic. Everyone in the village gathered, villagers, elders, even Dina's mother. It was time to say goodbye. One of the villagers gently explained to her that because of the plague and those creepy insect demons, they couldn't bury people anymore. The bodies might mutate after death, so they had to cremate them. Just as they were getting ready to send Dina off, Bai Qi showed up and asked them to wait. 3 more days. That's all he wanted. He even used an ice-type magic item to keep Dina's body from decaying, buying them more time. Now why wait 3 days? Bai Qi had a hunch. He thought maybe, just maybe, Dina could be brought back as a rekindler, just like him. But that wasn't all. When Bai Qi took one look at Dina's wounds, he knew instantly. It was an assassin, someone fast, deadly, and precise. His guess? Pass from the dark round table hall. And yes, he was spot on. He activated the guide ability, a special skill that lets him identify every single person inside the village. Using that, he tracked down exactly where Pass was hiding. Cut to the underground chamber. Pass had already reached the place where the world's soul fragment was kept. But before he could make a move, Bai Qi appeared behind him and struck first. Pass dodged, swift and silent, and counterattacked hard. Bai Qi held his ground, but he quickly realized one thing. Pass's hidden assassin class was on a whole different level. If Bai Qi wanted to keep up, he had to switch classes. Pass kept pressing in, not giving Bai Qi any room to breathe. But our boy fought back and finally pushed him back just long enough to change into his insect caller class. The moment Pass saw that, everything clicked. He finally realized Bai Qi was the one who killed Bugis and took his abilities in gear. Now knowing Bai Qi was a rekindler too, Pass activated his ultimate, invisibility. But Bai Qi was ready. He unleashed a poison skill that filled the area with toxic mist. This stuff wasn't just deadly. It also had a high chance to reveal invisible enemies. Pass didn't panic. He popped a high-grade antidote to boost his poison resistance, then threw his dagger straight at Bai Qi. And just like that, he appeared right where the dagger landed. That was his move, Shadow Assault. But even though he landed the hit, it did absolutely no damage. Then Bai Qi pulled out one of his trump cards, 100-fold body fluid extract. His body morphed into an insect-human hybrid, boosting all his stats through the roof for 3 full minutes. Pass tried to dodge the first few attacks, creating space between them, clearly trying to stall for time. But Bai Qi wasn't falling for it. He saw right through the act. He dashed in, landed clean hits, and then leapt into the air, before crashing down and slamming Pass into the ground. Well, it seems game over. Even though Pass just got absolutely wrecked by Bai Qi, he wasn't done yet. He had one last trump card tucked away. He pulled out a dimensional escape item. This thing lets the user vanish completely from the world. Not just their body, but any effects on them disappear too. So, the moment Pass activated it, he was instantly teleported into another dimension. While running away like a coward, he kept mocking Bai Qi, shouting that once he's healed and ready, he'll come back for revenge. But come on. Do you really think our boy was just gonna let that slide? Just because you're in another dimension doesn't make you untouchable. Pass was running through this massive, endless space people call the inner world or the shadow realm. He kept sprinting forward, trying to reach the exit. And just when he thought he was safe, finally reaching the edge, Bai Qi appeared right behind him and stabbed him in the back. Pass was in total shock. Like, how did Bai Qi even get into this place? Well, turns out, even though Pass vanished from the world, he left behind faint energy traces. And in Bai Qi's territory, no energy fluctuation, no matter how small, goes unnoticed. That's all our boy needed to track him down. As Pass tried to charge at him, he suddenly felt weak and collapsed. That's when he realized Bai Qi's earlier attack had applied multiple weakening status effects. Now completely helpless, Pass started panicking, begging for his life, saying, "We rekindlers shouldn't be killing each other," and blaming everything on his grudge against Bugis. But nah, Bai Qi wasn't buying any of that. This guy killed Dina. That's not something you can talk your way out of. Even the villagers weren't gonna let this one slide. Suddenly, they stormed in from all sides, beating Pass down with whatever they could find: sticks, tools, weapons. Fast forward 3 days later, Bai Qi had Pass tied up and hanging from a tree. When Pass finally woke up, the first thing he saw was Dina's body, still preserved inside that ice magic. And in that moment, he finally understood why Bai Qi had kept him alive this whole time. Because in this world, if someone dies, there's a chance they can come back as a rekindler exactly 3 days after their death. But today was the last day, and Dina still hadn't come back. Bai Qi was devastated. He quietly apologized to Dina's mother, saying he'd failed to save her son. Then, with heavy hearts, the villagers lit the funeral fire. The scene was heartbreaking. Everyone in the village loved Dina. They truly cared about him. But just when it felt like all hope was lost, something incredible happened. Dina's body absorbed the flames. And then, just like that, he came back. Dina was revived as a rekindler. Even though Dina came back to life, something felt off. You could see it in his eyes. He was standing there, breathing, alive, but something had changed. While Pass was still burning to death, he suddenly started laughing like a maniac. He looked at everyone and shouted that Dina wasn't the same anymore. According to him, rekindlers lose all memories of who they were before. They basically become someone new inside the same body. So to him, Dina was gone. But here's the thing, he was dead wrong. The Dina standing there? That was the same Dina we all knew, but now way stronger. The only thing different was his power. And when I say power, I mean it. He clenched his fist, gathered a fiery energy that started heating the air around him, and charged straight at Pass. With one massive punch, he unleashed a fire burst so intense it completely disintegrated Pass. After that, Dina turned to Bai Qi, smiled, and thanked him for saving him. But then, he smirked and fired off a chain of fireballs right at Bai Qi. Our boy dodged them with ease, but that one move told him everything he needed to know. Dina's level? He was already at level 30. That's a massive leap. Now you might be thinking, wait, is Dina evil now? Don't worry, he's not. He was just testing his powers. Koma looked like he was ready to knock some sense into him, but Bai Qi held him back. Instead, he teleported behind Dina and went for a strike. But Dina wasn't standing still either. He used a flame decoy technique. In an instant, he swapped places with a fiery clone, and the clone exploded in a huge fiery blast. But come on, you really think Bai Qi would fall for something like that? Dina was evolving fast. Not only was he getting the hang of his powers, but now he could even fly. Wings of fire flared out from his back as he lifted off the ground. He wasn't done yet. He gathered a massive ball of flame in his hands and hurled it at Bai Qi. Bai Qi dodged it again, and the fireball shot up into the sky, exploding into a bunch of fireworks that lit up the clouds. Turns out, this wasn't a real fight. Bai Qi was just testing Dina to see if he had control over his new powers. And Dina passed. He looked at Bai Qi and told him how grateful he was, and that from now on, he wanted to protect the village as Bai Qi's right-hand man. With everything settled, our boy turned his eyes toward the future. The next destination? The Duchy of Alina. Let's talk about what Princess Mina has been going through all this time. After she fainted, Mina fell into a deep dream. In that dream, she met the very first king of the Star Glory Kingdom. She poured her heart out to him, told him everything about the kingdom's current mess, and what she hopes to do to bring it back to life. Now, even though the guy looked majestic and royal, he didn't talk down to her. Instead, he spoke gently, encouraged her, and left her honestly surprised. But he also gave her some real talk. He told her not to throw her whole life away chasing this goal. He said life isn't just one path, that she should think about her own happiness too. Her answer was clear. Reviving the kingdom is her only purpose. When she woke up, Mina and her crew started looking for Baron Robbie. Sadly, he was already gone, off handling some business at the border. So they had no choice but to stay in the royal city and wait for his return. Thankfully, Bai Qi had given them some of the late king's gold coins, so they used that to buy a small place on the outskirts of the city. That at least gave them a roof over their heads. While they waited, they didn't just sit around. They kept a low profile and started checking in with the locals, seeing how people were really feeling. Turns out, a lot of folks were unhappy and frustrated with how things were going in the kingdom. Now fast forward to the present. Mina gets word that Baron Robbie is finally back at his mansion. Without wasting a second, she and her team head straight over. When they get there, Baron Robbie is sitting on his throne, talking to them through a hologram. He knew exactly why the princess had come, and he didn't waste time. He told her he understands her dream to bring back the kingdom. But here's the thing. He's a merchant, not a politician. He doesn't care which lord is in charge, as long as there's profit involved. Then he dropped the real punch. He respects her goal, but right now, she's just a powerless little princess chasing a dream. After that, the hologram cut off. The whole party felt insulted. Talking to her through a hologram the entire time, it felt like he was looking down on her. But even with that disrespect, Mina knew deep down that he wasn't wrong. Right now, she didn't have the power, the status, or the leverage to negotiate anything. As they left, we got a glimpse of the real Baron Robbie. His body, covered in scars. These were cursed wounds, infected by a demon's magic, stopping them from healing. The guy had almost died on his recent trip trying to convince the warring lords to open trade checkpoints. He got caught in the middle of all the fighting between kingdoms. That whole speech, it wasn't just him brushing her off. He was warning her about the brutal reality out there. Days passed. The princess didn't leave her room. Her team started getting worried. That night, they placed her dinner quietly in front of her door and gave her space to think. Inside, Mina was heartbroken. She felt defeated, unsure of what to do next. And then, just when she needed someone most, guess who showed up? That's right, Bai Qi, riding in on Kumo. He invited her for a ride. The two took off into the skies, flying from one stunning place to another, and slowly but surely, the weight in Mina's heart started to lift. Bai Qi was doing what he does best, bringing calm in chaos. He asked her what she thought of the Alina Duchy's capital. Then he said something that really hit her. He told her it was nothing compared to the royal capital of the Star Glory Kingdom. Back in the day, under their kingdom's protection, there was no war, no famine. People actually lived happily. That one comment was all it took. Mina's eyes lit up again. Her will to restore her kingdom came back stronger than ever. And just as the mood was starting to feel all kinds of romantic, enter Kumo, our demon buddy, flying in like a third wheel and giving Bai Qi props for his girl handling skills. Can't lie, it was hilarious. When they landed and rejoined the party, everyone was on edge seeing Kumo again. Remember, he's still a demon. But he quickly switched it up by using his transformation skill, turning into a ridiculously handsome nobleman. Like, too handsome. Bai Qi even had to tell him to tone it down, or people would think he's some prince here to snatch up brides. So Kumo did tone it down, just a little. Now back to the mission. House broke down the plan. They originally wanted to use Baron Robbie's influence to connect with the restorationists scattered across the country. These restorationists? They're no joke. In the game, they were an ultra-secretive faction hiding deep within all 8 nations. Most of them were older folks, blending into society under different roles, some holding serious power and controlling key resources. And yes, Baron Robbie was one of them. Even Bai Qi was sick of all the reputation quests tied to this. So instead of chasing them down one by one, he came up with a genius idea. Make them come to us. How? By turning Princess Mina into a national idol. Think about it. This world is torn apart by war and fear. The only idols people admire now are battle legends and holy figures, and those folks are usually way too distant from regular people. But Mina? She's relatable, down to earth, kind, and still strong enough to protect the people. Bai Qi's plan was to show off her charm and strength at the same time. Let the people fall in love with her image, and before long, she'll be the heart of the nation. House was still worried, though. If Mina becomes a public figure, the other nations might notice. But Bai Qi reassured them they wouldn't reveal her true identity right away. They'll wait until her popularity and support are so big that no one can stop her rise. Mina was hyped. She finally had a direction again. Next step? They need to borrow Baron Robbie's transcendent crystal communicator. This crystal, made by the Deep Space Academy, allows long-distance communication from anywhere, anytime. And it's a key tool if Mina's going to go national. Bai Qi made it clear. This crystal is a game-changer for her campaign. Now hold up, let's ask something real quick. What if Bai Qi didn't help Mina? What if he stuck to his original goal of becoming king himself? Well, bad news. That leads to the worst ending in the game. In that route, the final battle is against Princess Mina and the first king himself, and the difficulty? Insane. Even back then, when Bai Qi was maxed out, dodging bosses like it was nothing, this fight nearly broke him. After beating them, you'd actually have to kill Mina. But now, this isn't just a game anymore. Mina's real. She's right there, flesh and blood. Bai Qi could never choose that path now. And just like that, with her heart reignited and a whole new mission ahead, our story wraps up for now.